meeting to order. City of Laredo Special Council meeting, Chamber of Councils, 1110 Houston Street, February 11, 2025. All rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence, please. Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Secretary, roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor. Honorable Mayor Dr. Victor D. Trevino,
Present.
Councilmember District 1 Gilbert Gonzalez, Councilmember District 2 Ricardo Rangel Jr.,
Present.
Councilmember District 3 Melissa Cigarroa,
Present.
Councilmember District 4 Ricardo Rick Garza,
Here.
Councilmember District 5 Ruben Gutierrez Jr.,
Present.
Councilmember District 6 Dr. Tyler King,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Vanessa Perez, Councilmember District 8 Alisa Cigarroa.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Start with item number 5, communications. Go ahead, Mr. Neb, first.
Okay, Mayor, of course, tonight we're going to talk about the bond referendum, potential of the bond referendum and all the projects that are associated with it. I wanted to answer a couple questions really quickly that had been asked from the previous meeting and everything, is that why are we doing the bond referendum? Why now? What is triggering all of this? Wanted to share some statistics with you on this slide here, and these are just some of the previous numbers that you've seen within Laredo. The population growth, we have an annual growth rate from 2013 to 2023 of 1.7%. Our employment growth has been a 2.2%. I was looking on the screens on, there we go, all right. A percentage increase for the employment. Our gross domestic product has grown 3.1%. Our real estate market has grown 5.5%. These numbers look like they're manageable in their own right, but what happens is that after COVID, after 2020, our city saw an exponential growth very quickly. I believe that last year we had an 11.4% budget increase within our expenditures of the general fund. What we're going to see is we're going to see continued growth. So we think that this growth is going to get faster and more furious. This chart here that I wanted to show with you is that it shows the red line at the top showing a service demand cost with a modest 5% increase every year from 2024 forward. This is where we believe that our services are going to grow that are coming out of the general fund. Our police, our fire, our streets, our parks and recreation, everything that is funded by the general fund. We're putting in that it's going to see a modest growth of 5%. I'm telling you that in the last 4 years, we've been about 11 to 15% increase of that. So all this conversation about nearshoring, all of this stuff is happening. And you can tell on the chart here that the blue line is the state mandated property tax caps of 3.5%. So we cannot, even though we're a growing community, that we're in the high 8, 9, 10% of growth, the property tax cap is going to hold our revenue, our available revenue down. And with our trip in Austin last year, or last week, it felt like last year, didn't it? No, last week when we were in Austin, of course, the legislature is going after some additional property tax caps. And I had a chance to talk with Representative Raymond about this, and I said, what is the city supposed to do when all our local services, all of our police, our public safety, our parks and recreation, our streets, our public infrastructure, how are we supposed to generate the revenue in order to get there? And it comes down to you need to talk to the voters. That's where the legislature was, and that's where Richard Raymond says it needs to go to the voters, which means that for bond referendums, that this is the system that we have in place. If we cannot manage our service model within the structure that we have within the revenue, we have to go to the voters for that as well too, for the M&O side. So the challenge is, and that's what the state would like us to do, is go to the voters, and voters, it's okay if they tax themselves. That's, in my mind, that's the mentality of that.
Mr. Neff, sorry to interrupt.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, just so Mr. Maldonado makes note that Mayor Pro Tem Melissa
Yes,
Pettis
sir.
is present.
All
That's
right,
noted.
thank you.
Thank you.
So this chart here I wanted to show you because the red line is our service demand growth at a 5% going forward. The blue line is where the property tax caps will place us within that structure. The yellow square in the middle, or the yellow colored in area, is the gap between where we need to be and where we are. And that is the area that we are, right now, we are actually subsidizing that through our reserves and closing that gap. We're able to manage our balanced budget by utilizing money that we've earned over time to cover for that. As you can tell, as we go toward the right side of the screen, that gap gets wider and wider. That's our fear. That in my mind, that's why we're having the conversation about doing our services a little bit differently with the bond referendum. And so I wanted to lay this out there. I think the picture is fairly good on its own. I had another slide that shows the trending downward of our reserves, but I figured I'd just describe it for this one. This chart's really nice to see. It shows what's going to happen as in any growing community in Texas is going to be affected the same way. But I wanted to share this slide with you just so you understand. We don't go to the voters just because we think we're going because we need their help. We're going and we're going to go seek out the ability to do. Some of it's a catch-up. We're behind on public safety. We're behind on public infrastructure. We're doing the best we can with what we have. I think we've done a great job of a lot of that stuff, but we now need the help. And I think that the bond referendum is meant to put these issues forward to the people and have them tell us if they agree with us or not agree. And so all this work that you're doing, thank you so much for everything that you're doing with that. I did answer, I think I got asked the question, what happens if it's not all of it? What happens if it's just a little bit of it? Anything that we are able to do all of our departments believe it's a blessing. It helps take a little bit of that weight off. If we were to not do anything at the time, we will still find ways. That's where we go into the alternative conversations as well too, as to how are we going to make this work. I don't want to have conversations about service reductions or anything unless we have to that's the only option left on the table. The idea is that we go to our people, we trust that they understand what a growing community is and where we're going. So I'll leave it at that. I'll get off my soapbox for that, but I did want to share this slide because I thought it showed very well, this is what's happening to us in the future. And I was going to bring my crystal ball down. I left it upstairs, but it is really, it's like we're projecting out, but you all feel it in the traffic. You all feel it with the bridges. We're doing expansions of those bridges. Nearshoring is going to hit in Mexico. We're going to see the impact of that being the #1 port in the Western Hemisphere.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Neff, you were talking about, right now you're mentioning about being the reserves. How much do we have in the reserve right now? So the public will know how much we have in the reserves.
And I'll leave that to budget to cover.
Okay, so this is Barso with the Budget Department. General Fund Reserve has about $54 million. We also have about 32 million as well as a reserve that we use during the budget to kind of make sure that we do present a balanced budget.
So that we're above 30%?
Yes, we're about 20, we're about 20% more or less in general fund. In general fund, we're 20% fund balance.
And if I could, Mayor and Council Member, if I could take that just a little bit farther, because we have had these conversations with our financial and analysts as well too. You don't go anywhere. But we also have to carry a certain amount of percentage for our debt service. And so I wanted to make sure that you covered that, because I believe that right now we're around 17%, and we're being told we need to bring that up to about 20%.
That's, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay,
by
yes,
charter,
sir.
20%.
Yeah, so we need to keep that in mind in our calculations and everything. We need to carry 20% in reserves in our general fund for that.
We're at
debt service
17
that we're
right now.
covering.
And we're at 17 right now.
We're at 17 for that purpose, at least in the last year's budget.
The requirement that we have for general fund is 15%.
15.
But by charter, however, we are, based on the financial consultant, we are trying to increase that to 22% on the general fund. Now, keep in mind that this is only general fund. We do have fund balances in all our other enterprise funds, special revenue funds, so the total reserves that we have are higher than that when we look at our total city. But the one that we kind of keep a close eye is on general fund.
Question, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Statement, but I did a little research, and the last time the city of Laredo passed ad valorem property tax referendum election was 1993. So we did research all the way back in the history that we could find. 1986, 1989, and 1993 are the only 3 times the city's actually done this mechanism. So it's been 32 years since the city's used this mechanism. For comparison, the city of San Antonio has done this every 5 years since 2007. And then, all the other major cities do them. I feel like this council hasn't had a chance to really debate, even we all kind of back in just a little June of last year, I asked the mayor and Councilmember Torres to consider putting this agenda item to get this process going. And we did that in June, and then, in August, we got our committee members on there. By October, they finally met, and literally the day of the E. coli outbreak is when the first subcommittee met. And of course, all of our focus was on that, rightfully so. And then, we fast forward, we let the committee do its work. We're engaging with our committee members, but not really talking about it collectively as a council. And then a couple weeks ago, we have 2 last-minute crash course meetings on that Tuesday and Thursday where we're all finally talking about, of course, we have a new council member as well. We're trying to get his perspective on. And so I'm and then we have a deadline of 2 days from now to get the exact perfect language ready. And full disclosure, the original reason why I was so focused on trying to get a bond referendum going back last year when I reached out to the mayor was the concern for, I think it's no secret to my colleagues, a rec center in District 6, we don't have a single indoor community gathering space in the entire district. If you want to meet in District 6, I know everyone thinks North Laredo's wealthy, but there are a lot of people living paycheck to paycheck that don't live by the country club, and there's no place to actually meet indoors. If you want to have a community gathering, you have to rent out a private area. There's no public space, indoor space in the entire district, right? And so that was the original reason why I asked the mayor to consider bringing this even process moving forward last June. And, I just think we should at least have a discussion. We crash coursed it 2 weeks ago. I would love to put this forward in May, but I'm also worried we haven't done enough community engagement to warrant it, and I think the reaction's going to be, that we're trying to force it down people. And I want to do this more than anything. I want to do a bond referendum. I truly believe that we need it. I'm just thinking that we might be rushing this one. There was more work we could have gotten done up to this point, but I currently believe that it's in the best interest to get the best public engagement and make sure that we make this bond referendum just right for the public and where they can actually appreciate it, that we push it back to November. You can only do these in the months of May and November in any given year. And my current belief is that we should move it towards November. And I would like to make a motion that we push this election back to November.
I'll second.
Can I,
Motion second.
Mayor, can I direct it? So, back in June, we started off with this conversation, we started off with the committees. Everybody was designated 3 committee members, and I gotta disagree with my colleague. We have a lot of committee members that, went out their way, they did their job, came into meetings, they sacrificed their time. And I think if they provided this information for us to do what we have to do right now, I think we're ready for it. If they, it's part of, they're people from the community, they're people that, they gave their time, they were out there, not only as committee members, but as members of the citizens of Laredo. So if they think we're ready and they provided the numbers, they give their opinion, I think we should, validate that and take it into consideration, so we can, right now, we have the time to discuss, but I think everybody has their opinion or the direction we want to go. So,
Mr. Neff, before we go there, in November, prices are gonna change. All the numbers that have been put forth may change. Schools are gonna have their issues with the state also requiring some funding. So we're gonna be in competition with that money. So that's my concern if we move it up to November.
Mayor, along the same lines, if I may,
Go ahead.
that's a real big concern. While I wish we had more time, we simply don't. Not only that, but we're going to be going against the school districts for bonds. So will the public want to see an enormous increase then and now? Or I shouldn't say enormous, but an increase. That's going to be the problem. If we really want to give the voters a chance, give them a chance to vote for this referendum, whether this bond, whether they like it or they don't like it. At the end of the day, it's their decision. And if the voters vote for it, then we'll go through with it. And if they don't, they simply don't. We need to accept that.
And Mayor and City Council, yeah, the numbers may change from May to November, at least they have about every 6 months anyway. What will happen if we draft the questions correctly, again, we're just going to be able to borrow up to whatever that amount is that's approved by the voters. And keep in mind that this is not, the voters will determine if we are going to go out and decide this. This is just giving them the opportunity to have that question asked, are you willing to support this? I think that's the one thing I want to make sure I keep driving home. They don't feel the debt until we borrow the money to do whatever the project is. So if it takes us 2 years to do a project, but they've said we can, then they don't feel that tax impact until 2 years later. So keep that in mind as well too, is that it is a very good system as far as we're asking for permission to go out and do this. That's all we're asking for. And then our bond counsel and everybody will say, this is when we're going to trigger those bonds, which then the impact comes at that point in time. But I appreciate what everybody's saying.
Okay, one of the things I did want to put some points across before we continue. We have to understand that I think it's time to step up a plate as a city because we're setting up for future generations. And to continue the cycle with some of the highest childhood diabetes and obesity has detrimental effects. I would like to focus on public health. Now, people that say that doesn't impact me because I have good health insurance and we all pay for this. A lot of these healthcare issues are not covered by insurance and self-pay or no insurance is absorbed at the hospitals and eventually by the state, federal, and local levels. So this does not include people that are using the emergency rooms as the doctor's office and showing critical emergency access for everyone else's care. So this is our biggest tool in prevention. Through programs through the health department that we desperately need, and prevention saves lives. And all the money is used up for the rest of the community. Every dollar invested in prevention, like vaccinations, yields about a lot of money in savings. For the whole country, just in vaccinations alone, according to the CDC, approximately 117 million children between 1994 and 2023 routine childhood vaccination will have prevented approximately 508 million lifetime cases of illness, 32 million hospitalizations, and 129,000 deaths, at a net savings of $540 billion in direct costs and $2.7 trillion in total healthcare functions. So these are important. Infrastructure is important, but public health should be put up to the forefront. That local governments like the city of Laredo typically repay bond debt through ad valorem tax. And typically, this election is therefore a tax rate election that we need, asking voters to approve an increase in property taxes. So these are things I think we need to put public health at the forefront, and I'd like to bring that item first.
Mayor, you have a motion and a second.
Okay, motion and second.
By Dr. King.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Made up a motion for discussion.
All right, go ahead. Who was first? Go ahead.
So, my concern, I share Dr. King's concern. I don't think the issue is whether we go out for bonds or not. The issue is whether we go out for bonds in May or in November. It is not that these projects, well, many of the projects proposed are vital to the functioning of the city. I mean, we know the police headquarters, the current headquarters is just insufficient for the needs of the police activities now, much less in the future. The fire stations, those substations are part of our obligation as a city because of our growth to provide that protection in different areas of the city. We must extend the service through those substations. I think, and public health, I agree with the mayor. Perhaps the funding streams could be better, but since we do not have right now county involvement in providing public health as a collaborative effort, we are providing many public health services that we know that the public needs. And I think the hesitation for going forward in May is that we have not decided a total cap yet of what we will be funding. We don't have the proposed tax rate. We haven't decided the comprehensiveness of what the bond proposal will be to the voters. And so how do we go out in a not fully prepared way in May and have it pass? I think the voters are going to want to have all of the boxes checked, know exactly what we're asking from them to provide to our community, have that comprehensive list decided now, and not be making things up in May. And that is my concern, that when they see that there isn't as much preparation as there should be, they may decline to allow the bond to go through, and that will substantially hurt our city. We need their participation because there are items that we need to build, infrastructure that we need to take care of to vastly improve the quality of life in this city. And so we want the public to have confidence that that can be done. Can we do that at our level of preparation now for May versus taking a few more months to have those plans fully fleshed out, have the public understand exactly what we will do with that money, and have a complete rate that they'll know this is all the money we're asking for. The list that we are provided right now, we haven't made decisions to cut anything. And that list is way too much, in my opinion, where we need to start. So that is my concern. I share it with Dr. King, and I just think we'd be better prepared in November.
Go ahead.
So I just want to, this process is not an easy process, and it's not an easy ask for the public. I disagree that this has happened quickly in the sense that we've known for years, at least the whole 4 years that I've been on council, that these expenses were necessary. We've tried our best to fund them as much as possible over the years through the budget budget, but it's not enough. It's just not enough, and so these are not, wants. Here you have some wants and you have some needs. I think if we can cut out the wants and focus on the needs, the needs have been evident for many, many, many years. And whether we pay now or we pay later, we're gonna pay. And we're paying in terms of, poor health, we're paying in terms of, congestion, we're paying in one way or another. And, here we have an opportunity to fix some of these problems that we have, that we're not providing the services that the community needs, because we can't. So I don't understand why we would push something out and suffer, higher inflationary costs to do something that we've been needing to do for a lot of years already. So I don't really see a point in prolonging this. I think that it is something that we don't want the public to feel that we're not doing or looking out for their best interest, but there are some things in here that can be passed now and some things that can go on future referendums. This is not something that has to happen all at once, but this process is something that we're trying to do, just like we're trying to fix the water infrastructure, just like we're trying to correct mistakes from the past and get the city on a good foot forward. We just need the support from the community to be able to do that at a quicker pace. So I don't really agree with prolonging it.
Yeah, I'm happy, I can sense, I'm happy to remove my motion, I can sense that. I really wanted to do that mostly to get a temperature check of the room, because, we Texas Open Meetings Act, I can't ask all 8 of you how you're feeling about this, and I'm violating the law, right? So I just, it's something we haven't said out loud together, so I just, appreciate that. It seems like majority wants to move forward with May, and if we pass to move forward with May, as much as Zone says we're allowed to, I know there's limits on how much we're allowed to cheerlead, so to speak, for these. I will push, and to the extent the law allows for these projects, I'm all for them. I just want to make sure we have a high chance of success. So apologies if that was a waste of time, but I'll withdraw my motion.
All right. Go ahead.
No, you're first.
Thank you. I see and appreciate my colleagues' points here and the patience. I know he wants to be conservative and make sure we have one shot at this. But although we're in the final leg, I believe the directors and management and the subcommittees have put in the work. We are in the final leg today, and we don't want to isolate our bonds. We want to isolate our bonds then in November with join them with UISD. I don't know how that would play out. If the voters don't want it in November, they're not going to want it in May. They're not going to want it in November, possible. So, but if by Thursday, if we finish today and by Thursday, directors and management unions feel that we're not ready, then call us and we'll meet and we can possibly pull out if we feel by Thursday that, that there's things missing or that we're not that prepared to move forward.
And Mayor and City Council, our intent was whatever you did put onto the list, we will draft out all the facts associated with each item as best we can to explain why it was important, why it was within that. We have until Friday in order to complete the questions, the ordinance that will establish the election. And so if we're aiming for May, then the next thing is that what are we putting forward in that bond referendum? And so that's where we're kind of set for this. And the next piece is here, and I'm going to step back over into my chair. But Mayor and Council, we'll go through each one of these categories again. We'll go through, and you tell us what items you want to add into this, and then we'll be able to establish all that information for that. The only challenge we have is that, and we've written that ordinance for the propositions and the bond information as broad as we could right now to give you guys the luxury to determine exactly where you want to be. We may have to spend a little bit of time wordsmithing within that ordinance to get it to meet bond council's responsibilities, and then we can move forward. So I'm not sure. I don't know if we'll move into a postponement of this meeting into the next couple days, or we set a meeting, it'll have to be Friday based upon our schedule. But Mayor, if you, and City Council, if you're ready to go through this list.
Oh, wait, if I
Oh,
may,
yes, sir.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
We cannot start before, we haven't had citizen comments yet, so we need to bring them up before we start with the
Yes,
process
sir.
of.
We have one citizen's comment.
All right, then I will step out of the way for that.
Oh, just before we
Yes, go ahead.
officially rescind the motion, I just have a couple, thoughts on some of this. I commend the efforts of everyone involved and the time dedicated, to putting these proposals together. Yet, that being said, I do as well believe that the process, has been a bit rushed in the sense that we have not received adequate justification for any of the projects identified. I feel that there is a clear lack of strategic planning with no comprehensive assessment of long-term impact and financial feasibility, or alternative funding sources. And given this significant economic uncertainties ahead, we must take a more measured approach. Previously, the mayor did acknowledge that hundreds of millions are needed for water infrastructure, and if it's solely treated as an enterprise fund, will ultimately increase water rates as well. And my worry for rushing into a bond before understanding these potential resources is slightly reckless, and again with the economic uncertainties and including potential tariffs of Mexican goods. This could also reduce truck traffic and cut city revenues, making large-scale borrowing even riskier. And the budget must, I just really feel that we need to review all of this holistically. Council is being sold a simplified $30 a month for a $200,000 home, but this also ignores other financial pressures like the water system investments, potential tax cut changes, and within what has been proposed, there are quite a few items that are short-term projects, and that is bad financial planning. Issuing hundreds of millions in bonds now locks the city into long-term obligations, potentially jeopardizing our ability to respond to the major water infrastructure failures. And really, every project should have a clear, measurable impact. And I do sense that what has been presented are a bit vague. And in asking what management believes is a necessity rather than a want has still not been presented. There's a clear disconnect between what the committee's recommended to what management is presenting. That in and of itself isn't positive isn't a positive to take to the voters. And you yourself, Mr. Neb, mentioned that there are alternative financing routes, and we should be having that conversation now rather than, oh, well, let's just throw this out to the voters, see what sticks, and then we'll figure it out. So again, I will be voting against all of it, because I don't see. I do think that there needs to be a more adequate vetting process and more information. So thank you.
All right.
We've got to finalize the last comment, or you want to go to?
Yes, before we proceed, we have to do the citizens' comments.
Yeah.
Juan Avila.
Good evening, Mayor,
If you
members
state
of the
your
City
name-
Council.
state
First
your
of
name
all,
for the record, please.
Juan Avila for the record.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council members. First of all, congratulations to the ones that won their elections and the ones that were re-elected. Mayor, I feel that this bond, and I have a lot of family members here, that this bond election should be placed on hold until November. right now, what we should focus on is the first 100 days of the new president. Unfortunately, what he's doing right now, everybody is going chaotic. There's tariffs going to be placed in place. How's it going to affect the Laredo, Webb County? You know, the transportation. There's a lot of things in mind that you have to think about. And I will be honest I've always been honest with every single one of y'all. I'm kind of surprised that you withdrew your motion. It doesn't matter how your colleagues feel. This is your position. This is your citizens that you're representing. It's not about how they feel. It's about what you stand for, not how they feel. It doesn't matter how they feel. It matters what you do for your district. Now, do we need a police station? Yes, we do. They look like sardines in there. I've been there, visit them. They are like sardines. You're a former police officer. You should know that. Do we need more ambulances? Do we need more fire trucks? Yes, we do. First responders is the first thing. I remember when we were promised back from other city councils. I've seen, I don't know how many mayors come through here. We were promised like something like Fiesta Texas Park. Where is that? We were promised, you know, we wouldn't have no water problems anymore. Where is that? Y'all gave them $10. That's why I sent, you know, some text out. Y'all might as well slap the citizens in the face. $10, really? And then you're wanting for them to say, oh yes, I'm going to give you this, my vote. I'm going to say yes to your bond election. Where is it living? Where? How many people are losing their houses? But then some of y'all got, what was it, a $20,000 more money to, you know, jiggle around? And then you want to go ask for more money to the citizens? I'm from the third generation. I'm getting to that 60-year-old mark already. I hope so. Mr. Garza, I've known you for many, many years. And you know how that precinct is, how that district is. I commend you on one thing. You said, and I quote you, you said, we'll be ready if something happens on the water. Yeah. We've been ready for 14, 15 years back when Councilman Roque Vela was here. And I respect him with all respect. But we've never addressed the problem the way we should. We're always being reactive, not proactive. What is wrong with y'all? ¿Por qué no se quitan los lentes, se ponen a trabajar de verdad? Para la comunidad, not for what y'all want. Dr. King, I commend you. I know you want a rec center. I have two coaches back here that I've known for over 25 years. And they know I've been a parent volunteer for 25 years here in Laredo. Yes, you want a rec center. Is that a necessity right now? Or is the necessity really the water infrastructure? What would be first for you? You know, let's be honest to each other. It's not about what we want. Or should I say, what y'all want. It's about what the citizens out there want. Do you want the la generación de los abuelitos, you know, running out of money because they can't pay their taxes, because they're going to go up? And then what are they going to do? Let's take care of the downtown area, Hotel Hamilton. How many people go through so many problems there? And we haven't fixed it yet. It's been, rest in peace. I remember Ms. Narvaez, we were always going out there, helping them out. Let's look at what really is a necessity here. First responders got to be taken care of, there's no doubt. But we also got to worry about the water problem that we've had over the last, Jesus, I don't know, probably Councilman Rangel was still in high school. That's how long we've had it. Let's worry about the things that we really need, not what we want or how we want to spend our money. Let's spend it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
I just one final comment.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I guess just sitting here listening to all my colleagues, there's one thing that's different from other bond elections that I've been part of, and one is that on the others we ended the whole process without a question. All questions were answered before we went to the public. I am in agreement with everybody here that, you know, there's pros and cons about being in May and being in November. But I think everybody in their heart knows that everything, and by the way, there's more than enough blame to go around before all of us were here, about how we got to the state and the conditions of a lot of the buildings and a lot of the infrastructure that was here before us. But that's neither here nor there. We need to react now, before, and as I was telling one of my colleagues earlier, you know, we could have sat here and said, what happened in 2013, 14, and all those, and why didn't the police department get fixed then, little by little, or found property by then? And that's what bond elections do, in my experience. You get to the point where you've lived out whatever property you have, or whatever structures you have, and then you move forward and you try and get something else. So I agree with everybody here that I mean, there's not much wiggle room in a lot of these things that we can do. Everything is absolutely needed. Everything is absolutely needed. But we haven't prioritized as to what is needed more than something else. And there's a lot of things that I agree with some of my colleagues that said there's a lot of information that was just not privy to us beforehand. A little bit more structured questions that needed to be answered. But and just listening to Mr. Neb right now, we have 2 days to do it, right? We can solve a lot of these problems right now if we have all of us have an understanding about what we are about to go do. And then so once we go to the public and ask them for this, the questions are going to come to us, not to a lot of you all. So we need to have answers for that. So that's one of the things that worries me about where we're at today. I mean, we've dwindled it down to only certain things. About 85% of the questions have been answered. What we want to do, we have a set of goals in front of us as to what we want. But there are those little detailed questions as to whether we can afford this bond election, whether or not we can afford it. How are we going to pay them back? Do we have enough of fund balance to cover ourselves in case of anything that happens with, rightfully so, as Mr. Avila pointed out, we don't know what's going to happen, and Mr. Roa, we don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 or 3 months, and how is that going to derail everything that we're trying to do. So the question is very simple to me right now. I think I'm all in on whatever is needed, because I've spoken to everybody about what is needed, but I need priorities to be set as to what we need first, number one. Number two, we need to figure out how we get all these questions to every council person here and make them understand how to feel comfortable about going out there and asking the public for these monies. It is only our job to do that. If we owe it to our citizens, we are constantly going to be reminded that we are there for them. And therefore, we need to be extremely proactive on getting those answers before they come in and come to us for those questions. One more thing. This is a covenant with the community. We are basically tying ourselves to the community and saying what we need. Just a little point of reference. These bond elections are going to be broken down into what, 11? I think, was it 11? 11 questions?
Mayor, that's up to you all tonight to determine.
Okay,
the
so
number of.
so what we're going to determine, and just so that some of the public can understand right now, when you go to vote for these things, you're not going to vote on one single package, and that's very important. So you're going to vote individually, and you're going to have to answer, and that's the beauty of this bond referendum. The public is going to get to decide this one yes, this one no, this one maybe, and then it just works that way. So I believe that, Mr. Neb, that you all are in the right direction as to where we need to be. But I think we need to close the deal with the council first, these next couple of days, and answer all of these questions that they have, because in the end, we are the ones who are going to have to be out there responding to the public about this. And it just see it, I mean, all due respect, is that it's very difficult to do this job or any public office job without having all the proper information first and foremost. So I think it behooves the admin and staff to get us prepared for that. So I would say that with this 2-day period is going to be very important for all of us to make sure that all of us up here get it. And that's all my question.
All right, thank you. Before we proceed, one more citizen's comment. Mr. Hector Alanis.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. Hector Alanis. served on the Health and Wellness Subcommittee and also in the main committee. And sorry for my mask. I'm trying to get over a cold and don't want to get anybody else sick. But Martin Luther King said, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? City Council, you will be making the decision as to what moves forward, okay? If we don't do it now, we wait till November or we wait till next year, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing what we've been doing in the past. We've not had bond referendums continuously or every 5 years, like some of the other metropolitan cities, bigger than ours, have been doing. It's no secret, everybody's going through growth development. Every city, Dallas, San Antonio, Corpus Christi, the Valley. And if we don't do, the bond referendums, and we do it on a continuous basis, and we only do them a real big project and then wait another 10, 15, 20 years to do another bond referendum, we're not doing a good job. We need to do a really good job of educating the people. That's part of the bond referendum subcommittee information was provided to us. And the same manual and the same information that's been provided to you as well. The subcommittee, when we started meeting, we had a presentation from the city manager, and we were told, look, you guys are gonna make recommendations to City Council. City Council is gonna look at your recommendation, and based on your recommendations, they will make a decision on what's gonna make it to the ballot. And ultimately, the voters are gonna make that decision. Not the subcommittees, not City Council, but the voters. It's a key, that we do a really good job of educating the community about what's gonna be on the ballot referendum and why we need it to make sure that it passes. Not everything's gonna pass. When we first started the committee, we were given an astronomical number of $844 million to consider. And we all thought the same thing, wow, that's a lot of money. How are we gonna approach, the community and tell them, hey, we've got $800 million that we're gonna be asking you for public infrastructure, health and wellness, public safety, and enhancement services, right? We all knew that we were not gonna be putting an $800 million bond referendum to the community. What we were coached on and told later is some of those items are gonna be prioritized. And we didn't get a chance to meet that one last time because of the holidays and a few other things. But we're supposed to have one last meeting where every subcommittee was going to prioritize all the asks from each subcommittee. And we're going to prioritize all those and bring them to you and that way make things a little bit easier. Unfortunately, we didn't get to that part. And so that's where we're at right now. I don't believe, again, that we're going to be able to put a bond referendum of $800 million. We were realistically probably thinking anywhere from $200 and $300 million, which would identify the top priority projects that are needed, whether it's public safety or public health or whatever it may be, or a combination of all four. And then possibly maybe in November or maybe next year or in a couple of years, look at some of the other items, projects, that came in as a second or third priority and move forward with that. If we compare what we're trying to do here to our homes, when we buy a home, whether it's an existing home or it's a brand new home, it's going to need maintenance to be done, after 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years. And if we don't keep up with the maintenance, we're going to be living in a broken home. The same very thing is happening to our water infrastructure. Our water infrastructure has really not been worked on for several years, many councils before you. And so right now we're facing $800 million or more on improvements for water infrastructure. And so we've got some problems. That is separate and aside from what the bond referendum is. I just want to make sure that you all know that all the subcommittee members worked really hard. We do appreciate that. It was a learning experience. But we also know that all of you have to make a decision. We look forward to you guys making a decision. But I don't think, my personal opinion, I don't know how the rest of the subcommittee members feel, but I think, we should move forward and present something to the voters. Again, Not everything's gonna pass, just like in the charter review. The voters are ultimately gonna decide what moves forward and what doesn't move forward, but we gotta be careful, we gotta educate the community of what we're asking, why we're asking, and then we also have to kind of keep in mind that compared to other cities, our, taxes that we pay for the, infrastructure that we're doing, it's, falls really low on the scale. So, thank you for giving me some time to speak to you, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Neb, just one thing I did want to mention. As a result of our Austin legislative trips, we wanted to see how this could impact us. These were successful because I think we're looking at community needs. This is one of the reasons why collaboration was the first step necessary to show our combined effort and the need, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get ideas from the rest of the world. Bloomberg, Harvard, executive educational programs teach us how to do this, and they learn from our experiences, we learn from theirs. Not to spend a lot of time in politics and spend more time on solutions rather than focusing on the problem. And this is what we want to do here. I just want to set the tone so we can move forward on this.
Sir, Mayor and City Council, thank you. We're going to proceed forward with our list of projects that were given to you. We'll start with health, if that's acceptable, as requested. And I'm going to let somebody else run the board here, but essentially these lists here, they have everything listed out there. I think we got them out to you in an email as well too. We're just going to go run down each one of the sectors, figure out exactly what is a priority to you, and then we'll kind of compile it together. I think the only other housekeeping item I need to state, based upon what City Secretary just mentioned as well too, we will need to get this work done within this meeting. We don't have time to set another meeting by Friday because it's 72 hours before to get it scheduled for Friday. We should have done it at 5 o'clock today. So what we will ask you to do is continue this meeting. If we have to go longer than this meeting, we'll move it to tomorrow. And we'll go through, wrap up tomorrow. That'll give bond counsel time to actually make sure the questions are correct. But just so you know that we have to continue this meeting through in order to make time for the May meeting based upon all the schedules, I believe is what we're hearing, right?
Yes, at most you can recess until tomorrow. After that, you have to have the 70 hours.
We have until 10:30 tonight to do that, so.
All right.
But I think we'll move fairly quickly through this information now. It's just, I think, Mayor, thank you for setting the table, and I'll get out of the way and let's get to work.
All right, thank you. And before we go on to health, just to make sure that everybody understands that we're medically underserved. We've been medically underserved for decades. Health insurance, we have the lowest percentage of adults in the country having health insurance. This leads to premature death and also lack of physical activity. We have a low percentage of physically active adults. Obesity, we have 45% of the population classified as being obese. And it's also shameful to say that the city historically has spent less than 2% of their budget in public health. So we need to focus on this. These are real data and real issues. We can't progress as the most important port of entry in the United States with this health issue. So I think we should go forward with this. And I have a motion to just approve this, the amount of 70 million for the health. And if anybody would.
I will second that motion.
Mayor, if I may, the total amount for health is 70,881,000.
Yes, okay. Motion second.
Can you listen to the presentation?
We don't have a presentation for this, Council.
We already did it. All right.
Yeah, just question.
Question, go.
There was talks about the third floor possibly being removed, or is that included in this?
It's included, it's included.
Oh, okay, I thought there was talks about.
It's all there.
Okay, got it.
All right.
Mayor, I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Would you be able to describe, because the bond package we have it has a lot of things jumbled up in it. Could you describe what the 70 million, so that the public understands what it will fund? The big picture, it doesn't have to be.
Honorable Mayor, Jesus Esparza with the Budget Department. The Health Department is broken down into three main projects. The first project, which is in the front, which is the clinical and research building. The total amount for those is $17,833,500. Like I mentioned, that is the clinical and research building. The second project that they have is a remodeling for floors 1 and 2 of the Health Department. Total amount for that one is $17,925,000. And the third project that they have is a third floor construction. It's a new construction for the third floor, and the total estimated amount for that is $35,122,000. Of the total, that sums up to the $70,881,000.
All right. Thank you. All right, motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Next, public safety.
Yeah, if the mayor may allow, let me update those numbers here really quick, and I'll have a subtotal that's gonna summarize into our main page.
All right,
Mayor, can I ask you a question real quick?
go ahead.
Mr. Neff, is it accurate to say that, we're not allowed to, get schematics and designs on a building unless we have the monies to actually construct it? Or are we able to get designs and schematics without having a funding source for the project?
Mayor and City Council, Mayor Pro Tem, in my mind, I think you can do design and specifications and make shelf-ready projects and not move forward with the project. I think when you move forward with the project, you have to have the funds in order to get it done. So I think those are the variables, at least based upon how you're asking the question. But you can have design, you can do a design and then not do the project. So you can do a design without having the funds for that final project. And we've done other projects like that where we're not sure of what the total cost of that project is until after we've completed the construction drawings of that.
And so these renovations, we don't have designs for, but, we're not gonna do them all at once. Is that the plan? I mean,
That is
this is
correct,
gonna be a thing where, we're gonna design it and we're gonna build it within the next 3 years, 3 to 4 years, 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I would say any construction project that we were to place into this thing, we're at least 2 to 3 years away from actually building. Based upon doing the design, doing all that work, and then triggering the construction.
So if the public gives us the permission to bond for that amount, right? That's what they're giving us, is the permission to go out for it. That still gives us flexibility to,
When to trigger it.
when to activate it, but,
Yes.
you know, in the interest of the time factor, if the longer we wait for these projects, then does that affect the numbers? I mean, are these in today's dollars, or are these in, shovel, like at the time when
Yeah,
we're planning to bond out? Are these costs gonna change?
And Mayor and City Council, Mayor Pro Tem, these numbers are the best, I don't want to use that word. I was going to say guesstimate, because we don't know what the market will bear as we go out there. These are all based upon construction costs that we've seen in previous projects. All that data coming from all those professionals are telling us this is where it's going to be. I mean, to build a new fire station, I think Chief Hurd had mentioned that, is that it's a $700 per square foot to build a fire station. And I'm used to a lot lower numbers. That's probably my age a little bit, but it is. I think these are the best numbers that we can believe. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't change the scope of the project a little bit, as long as we meet the expectations of the question.
Mayor, if I may?
Go ahead.
I just think it's important that if we're gonna bond out for these projects, that we do them as quickly as possible, and it doesn't turn into something that the public's approving now, that they're not gonna see for 10, 15 years, because I feel that that just defeats the purpose of what we're doing.
Mayor and Mayor Pro Tem, and that's a very good valid point. I think you heard that in some of the citizen comments tonight as well too. We just need to follow through. We need to get this stuff done. If it's that important, let's do it right.
Mayor, and if I may add to Mr. Knapp's points, the remodeling of the first and second floor, there is currently some work being done currently with last year's budget on that design. The third floor does not. It still needs to be done. The other thing, what we're showing here is just the total projects. The departments did give us a breakdown of a 5-year project. So what we would do once the amount gets approved for the referendum, and if it's approved on the referendum, we already will go back and we are going to look at the phasing in. So we'll have design maybe on year 2 and then construction on year 3. So when we bond, we will only bond the monies that we will need as we go through. And to add on the current 70 million that we have in there, Dr. Chamberlain did provide us a number, a current number, and a projected number, including inflation and some contingencies. So this 70 million, 70.8 million should cover the inflation costs and any contingencies that might come down the road. And as Mr. Knapp mentioned, when we do that, we can also move and adjust as needed to make the project completed. So all the departments do have a tentative. We do have 5 years of information in here. Once we get this final number, we'll go back and tweak those numbers by year, so then work with the financing advisor to see when we issue those bonds, if they get approved. I just wanted to share that information.
Can I mention something real quick? And it's very important that you mention to the public that just because you asked for the 70.8, and if it comes down to, and they approve the 70.8, it can be less.
Yes.
And we don't have to go out and bond out for the whole 70. So
Exactly.
So it has to be very clear to everybody that there's that option.
Yes.
Okay?
Go ahead. Mayor, I wasn't like the idea that the furnishing was there, but I just want to clarify my vote in support of the item.
All right, thank you. Noted.
Just to add one last thing, Mayor, one of the reasons that we're looking to strategically issue those bonds is because we have 3 years to spend those monies. So we want to have them, when we do the financing, we're ready to do that next step, so we can adequately spend the money within those 3 years, so that way we avoid the arbitrage. The next department that you want to do, Mayor, please?
It's, let's bring.
Public safety.
Yes,
Fire.
public safety.
Fire.
Fire? So the fire proposed, we have some construction costs for a total of, let me see this construction cost. 42 million in construction costs. We do have some land acquisition of 6,080,000. We have vehicles. For a total of 28.4 million. We do have some furnishing for new station, the new station.
Mayor, may I be directed?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you just, remind us or just have that conversation about the vehicles once again? I'm still not clear on that. It's still a little bit confusing that if the bond passes, do they get the vehicles? They get the vehicles. If it don't pass, what happens? They don't have the vehicles. That's why I'm still, Mr. Knapp, can you give me a clarification of that?
So, yeah, Mayor and council member, the conversation with our bond counsel, and I'll let them cover it.
Rick Benavides for the record with JC Law Co-Bond Counsel. Good evening, council. The way that would work is if the bond referendum were to go out and include vehicles, and if we're not to pass, then the law says that the city wouldn't be able to go out for COs on those vehicles for the next 3 years. Now, for the next 3 years. Now, that doesn't mean that there's other financial.
But yeah, with regards to the equipment, though, you can do a tax note, I believe, is what was talked about at one of the last meetings. So,
Just for the record, for the public to know, because they're watching, what's a tax note? And it's for myself as well.
Well, if you want to better explain
you'd
the
like to
tax
cover,
note?
I'll let
Oh,
Bud
okay.
to
We're
cover the
covering
tax
everything
note.
right now, so.
It's just a different mechanism of financing other than a contractual obligation. So there is a different avenue for the financing of it.
But that avenue coming from where? From general fund?
Yes.
So it's coming from general fund?
Yes.
So regardless, at the end of the day, if let's say it doesn't pass, we're still gonna use that from general fund?
Yes.
Mayor, if I may,
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation from the committee for the $85,353,550 for the fire department.
Second.
Motion second?
May I clarify?
Go ahead.
I think the recommendation is from city administration. Is that the one, Mayor?
Yes, I'm sorry, that, my correction, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
From the city administration, $85,353,550.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Oh, one opposed. Motion passed. Next.
Can I,
Gloria, please.
can I make a comment?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry.
Closer.
Just as a point of, before we go through every single one of them, you know, in essence, we can pretty much vote as is right now and get all of them, voted in with the numbers. We've already discussed, I think, most of these things ad nauseum, you know, and so, the interesting fact about this is that you can always go back and say, we are not gonna cover, we're above the amount that we need later on. And so, but this is the slippery slope. That we can always have the option of saying, we're only gonna go out to these bonds, let's say in this particular case, instead of 85, we go down to 60, and that's all we're gonna do. And so there's an option within that particular option of how to do this. So, I mean, as we go further into detail right here, if we pull something out, you know, now, and we realize that we need it later, you know, where's the, you know, the advantage of just not getting it done the way it is right here? So in other words, we can sit here for another 5-6 hours or 3 hours or whatever it is, I don't have no problem with it. But I'm just saying that if there's once you vote it in and we remove something from in here, doesn't necessarily mean that we can find the monies to get that thing back in before we go out for the sale of these bonds. So, I mean, there's that mechanism in there. And so, and it kind of puts us in a bind right now to say, okay, you know, we're gonna go through all these things and just pull this one out and that out. And we know that we're gonna be able to bring it back later on. Am I wrong in thinking that way? Is that correct?
No, Mayor and Council Member, no, that is a good strategy as well too, is that just because we're given the authority to go out and borrow whatever that number is, doesn't mean we go out and borrow that number. The city council will have that opportunity as we pull the information together and say, all right, we're ready to pull the trigger on this issue. You do another vote in order to determine we're ready to go after that bond. And so if you're approved for 90 million, but you do an $85 million bond, that's acceptable within that structure. This is just the authority to borrow that much.
Okay.
You want to put that in the motion?
Well, no, I'm just gonna hear out. I just want to make sure that if everybody is in agreement, but it merits further discussion. I just want everybody to be clear on that, and the public knows about that.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Mr. Narco, understanding that, I believe the idea isn't necessarily to pull out items. I think it is a useful exercise. I know that we've seen it a lot and have gone through numbers. But for the public that's just finding out for the first time what the items will be, I think it's important to be discussing even at this date, to talk about what the proposals are, what the needs are, why we're going out for bonds. And when we can talk about exactly what the monies will be spent on, that's the conversation we're going to have between now and whatever date we end up setting for this. And the other item that I think we need to be aware of is we need to keep this running cost of what we're approving. Because at some point, the items that were proposed have a range of proposed increase in tax rate, right? And some of us might be less comfortable with it really reaching into hundreds of millions of dollars, that we're just not comfortable going there. So perhaps after this public safety section, if you could talk about what that is, what the city is encumbering by moving forward with these items, and not to prevent the other items from coming up, but for us to understand what type of tax increase we're talking about, so that we can have a better idea moving forward what items we really should be focusing on.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Maldonado, we have a motion and a second? On it?
For fire, it was already approved.
It was approved. Yes. So we're next with Laredo Police now.
Okay. Laredo Police?
So for police, we have for the construction cost, LPD headquarters, we have a total of 110.5 million. For the training facility, we have a estimated cost of 33.4 million. The surveillance facility center, 4.9 million. Survival, excuse me. Thank you. For the fleet units, we have a total of 32.8 million. And that makes a total request or total estimated amount of 181,786,905.
Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
make a motion to accept the city administration's offer.
Recommendation. Second.
Motion
I
second.
do have a question, Mayor.
Go ahead.
We've talked about it a little bit, about the fleet units, they're vehicles, yes? And there are some questions still in the public about why would we propose a bond that is paid over several years for cars that are gonna depreciate much more quickly than what a normal bond would be. There was an explanation given, but perhaps if you could talk about that so that the public understands that these bonds actually go out for a shorter amount of time because of that depreciation rate.
Sure. Hi, good evening. Tony Hasso with Estrada Hinojosa. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be with you all. Yes, excellent question, and you're right. As Mr. Hinojosa addressed last time, really what we do when we structure this financing is that we take something like, for example, vehicles that have a useful life of, let's say, maybe 7 years, and we'll structure the financing so that the principal amounts are paid down in a corresponding fashion, so that you're basically amortizing those police cars first. It's not something that we would necessarily take, a fleet of a car and basically try to amortize that over 30 years. We're structuring that with useful life of those assets in mind.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Question? No.
No, sir.
Any other
First and
questions?
second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Motion passes. Thank you.
Mayor, if you will allow me a couple of minutes, let me update that so I can look at the summary and give you what that impact is.
And Community Development, Hamilton, next. Yeah.
Would you like to look at the summary, or would you want to jump into the Hamilton?
We can wait until after the
Okay.
if that's okay.
If we're doing, Mayor, sorry, if I may?
Yes, go
If we're
ahead.
doing the Hamilton, I'd motion to accept the recommendation from city administration for the $10 million for the rehab of the Hamilton Hotel. It's for our elderly. That's definitely necessary.
I think we can go that route. Motion second. All- Go ahead.
Are we gonna have a little bit of a discussion about the Hamilton Hotel so that the public understands the need?
Sure.
Go ahead.
We need to start this, we need to start the education.
Go ahead.
right now.
Now. All right, we can do a general statement on it.
Good evening, Tina Martinez, Director for Community Development. So the Hamilton estimated cost would assist with some major rehab that the building would need to extend the life of the facility and to ensure that this affordable housing units will continue servicing our community.
And can you talk about the number of seniors that are impacted by this?
Yes, so currently there is 165 units, but we are only renting to 135 tenants. Because we do have some units that are offline, but this repairs would, again, put us at full capacity of 165 units for our community.
Just a general question also on this. Can you explain a little bit why we cannot go for another property to build on that with those 10 million?
So I believe the question for, that was provided to bond council was for this building specifically. And maybe bond council has more information on that, but it was geared for, there was some attorney general's request for information to ensure that bonding capacity could be done, but for affordable housing for a specific project. It has to be identified as a specific project. It can't just be, you know, a blank slate or a blank.
Mayor, and if I could, I might help as well too.
Yes.
We are reacquiring the Hamilton Hotel. It was in a housing authority's hands for a number of years, and they asked to give it back to us. They defuncted the housing authority, and so that's why it's coming back to us. And as we know from our conversations with the tenants, it needs a lot of repair and everything. So because we're acquiring it back and there's about $10 million worth of repairs that need to be done to the building, this seemed to be the best way in order to handle that whole process.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
And Mr. Neb, it is true that we are tied to the Hamilton Hotel because of that original federal loan that rehabbed the building 20 years ago for affordable housing?
Yeah, that's true. We own the building. We have to satisfy the HUD loan as well too. And this was the best way in order to keep that building bring it back to where it's supposed to be.
Yes, and continue providing the affordable units for our community.
Mayor?
All right, go ahead.
And just to clarify, how many more tenants will we be able to service if we do these renovations?
So we do have about, I want to say about, 29 units that are that are not being rented right now. So 29, I mean, they can serve up to 2 people, each of those units.
So that would be more.
And you can do 36, yeah,
More
30 to.
affordable housing for our seniors
Up to
if
30.
we invest in this. Plus, we can rent the bottom floors, which one of them is currently vacant. And this is a revenue generating
Yes.
project, so
Yes, correct.
I like it.
All right, call for the questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed, motion passed. Next. Public infrastructure.
I thought we were,
We
point
did
of
that.
order. I think they're gonna explain to us, the breakdown of where we're at right now. Mr. Esparza, can you also, Mayor, might be directed.
Yeah,
So can
let's-
you also,
let's go back to
add to the presentation you're gonna give right now, if there's a difference in interest rates?
If there is a difference in interest rates? This is the estimated cost of the build itself. The financing charges are not part of these calculations that we have right now. Okay. So when we get ready to do the first financing, that's when we're gonna get the interest and actually look at the interest that is gonna be charged on these issues. If the screen and the screen that you're showing right now, this is a summary based on the fire, police, and health and community. On the right side, this column, the G, has what has been approved so far. 85.3 million for fire, 181.7 for police, 70.8 for health, and 10 million for community development, the Hamilton project. A total of $348,031,455. If we look at the impact right now, the impact, it would take approximately 0.9 cents. And the impact to a home would be approximately $261, $21.75 annually, and $21.75 monthly.
Yes, go ahead.
I think there's a mistake because you change the home valuation from 200,000 to 300,000 for the last one,
Yeah, I changed that.
which affects the monthly cost.
There we go.
There we go. It's 1450 estimated annually, I'm sorry, monthly, and 174 annually.
Yeah, very misleading, Mr. Esparza.
That was on purpose, of when you saw that smaller amount, it would be easier to.
We were testing.
There you go, budget.
We want to continue with.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
with the Parks and Recs?
Go ahead.
What is the running total right now, the impact as we stand without parks?
Without parks, it's 348 million.
And what, the formula that you just showed, what is the monthly and the annually impact? What is
That is it.
This is the 9 cents here in the top. Mhm. This is the 348 that we're looking at financing. So 9 cents would get us to 348, and that would have the $14.50 annually on an average home of 200,000.
Are we at 348 right now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Let's keep on with the presentation. Let's do that.
Continue.
Next one is the Parks Department. The Parks has a replacing the administrative building and warehouse at an estimated cost of $12 million. They have the replacement of the synthetic turfs for 9 fields at 19.4. The conversion of the LED sports lighting on 8 parks, 13.8. The surveillance, $4 million. The Zacate Creek Trail System, $1 million. The construction of a rec center in District 6, $15 million. Construction of rec center in District 8, $15 million. Faskin Pool, $1.2 million. Faskin Bridge, $800. And the mountain bike trail on Shiloh, $2.5.
Mayor?
For a total amount of $84.7.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we don't proceed with parks, at this time, and we push that on to a future evaluation. That's my motion.
For discussion, just.
Motion,
to make
second
a-
for discussion?
You know, Parks, we're not trying to be, the bad guys or trying not to give you anything. I know that we have a lot of, there's a lot of needs in parks. And, we gotta commend to all the parks, to everybody that works in parks. They help us in events. They do a lot for us. But right now, I think our main focus should be on public safety, public health, which is something that's gonna be the impact the most. Right now with the new sports complex, hopefully coming up in April and May, once they see that we're starting to move on that, and that we're having good, a good feedback with all the community, seeing the great work that you guys are gonna be doing, I think that we're gonna have the opportunity for the next time to come in and ask for maybe a little bit more money. It was a great presentation. We went to Round Rock. We saw something that everybody was, we were shocked how much money they went out for bonds. But I think right now it's not the right moment. I think right now it's time for health, public safety, and we should just, continue with this. And, appreciate everything you guys did, you have done for us, and you continue doing for us. But I think right now it's not the right time. I think within 2 or 3 years, for 3 years, start getting ready, start seeing the impact that the complex is gonna give us, seeing how much we can change in parks, and we all can work together with our district priority funds and see if we can, enhance our parks in different ways.
Right.
So that's where I stand.
Who was next? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Completely understand where 2 colleagues who've spoken so far. I truly don't believe that parks and recreation are a want. I do believe they're in need. We've mentioned, the mayor, you mentioned the obesity rate of 45%, our diabetes rates. Part of fixing that is getting people moving, exercising, outside, active. When you compare, bonds in other cities, for example, Dallas's $1.4 billion bond last year. It was a parks, potholes, and public safety bond. But 500 million of that bond was for parks and recreation. And about 350 million of that bond was for streets, sidewalks, bridges. And then about 100 million was for public safety. So my point is, I understand what we're saying about needs and wants, but part of the point of these items is to put them to the public for them to see if they think it's worth it. And I have the community needs survey. Mayor, if you mind, I'll show it to you all. If you let me. Okay, so let me just. Okay. I don't know if you can zoom in on that or not. Anyone, is this zoomable? No?
Is it?
Is there a way to, there should be a zoom button here.
Somebody's doing that.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Oh, blurry.
Can't see it.
Do I need glasses, or is it very blurry?
Sorry, I should. Anyway, long story short, you all have this. Last year, the community development team did a survey for all districts. If you look at the top list, counseling, referral, support services, this is for the whole city. New housing, construction for low-income households, home buyer assistance, rental assistance, homeless prevention. And number 6 and 7 were rec centers and parks and playgrounds. If you go to District 6 specifically, out of, as you see, 28 items, okay? Out of 28 items, as you can see, the community need, and that was by the community needs survey, number one was rec centers. Number 2 was neighborhood police stations. Number 3, paved streets. Number 4, community senior centers. And as you can see, number 1 and number 4, because we have neither a rec center nor a community center. And I do believe it's a need. And I would like parks and city management to explain, the progress we've made on getting this done. We have 2 landowners who have already committed the land. One, the 10 acres is already there. 6 of those acres is buildable for a rec center in District 6. The other one is a potential donation. If this were to pass, we would be able to kind of use either option. So we have land already. We're not going to have to buy the land. The land's already there. And my constituents do need it, and they feel that. Why does every other district have it? Of course, District 8 has also been asked, but every other district, why is the maintenance and operations for every other district worth the maintenance and operation costs? So that's what my constituents are asking me. So I'm asking you to consider, and I'll come back to the dais, but I would like our park staff, if you could possibly highlight some of the conversations we've had about this over the last 2 years, and but anyway, I'm coming back to this.
Mayor and council, so we've been in conversations with all of them. They are meeting the conditions of how we operate for rec centers and now currently as well too, but right? I think you can cover the history a lot better than I can. I've been in only a couple meetings with the developer.
Right. Good evening, Mayor, Council, J.J. Owens, Parks Director.
Go ahead.
Dr. King is right, Mr. Neb is right. We have been in communication with some directors, and I have Anita here, and Tommy Ramirez have also been involved with the discussions. Anita handles on the land development for park. We do have some interested parties that have donated, are willing to donate some land to build some, a potential rec center in District 6. One of them being towards Harmony Hills, one of them being adjacent to North Central Park. I think it's called the Anda property, if I'm not mistaken. Councilman, is that the gentleman's name?
Well, that's,
One of them?
I didn't want to mention names, but that's
Yeah.
in the discussion.
Sorry.
But the one in Harmony Hills, they're already going to be giving us 10 acres as part of the parkland agreement with Parks Department.
Right.
So that would be east of the loop, so very, very symmetrical to Fasken in the sense of Fasken's on the northwest side of town, this would be on the northeast side of town, outside the loop. So that one is the guaranteed place that we for sure have that would be available to us to build it. And then there is a property adjacent to John Bell's Park that has been discussed, but I mean, it has not, it's a whole family that has to decide that.
Right.
That would be the dream, because it'd be connected to North Central Park, but of course that can't happen until there's a funding mechanism moving forward. And, I mean, I understand we just kind of went through the rest of the departments quite quickly, and, we funded all of those. I understand I have some concerns as well, perhaps administration building, administration buildings are always hard to sell to people, I understand that. And I also can understand the question of would the rest of you all, your constituents, contribute to another district's rec center, but I mean, like I said, the other 6 out of 8 have them. I mean, at the very least, I would ask, put it to us, allow us to at least put it to a proposition just for the rec center, and if we think the other 7 districts will vote it down, I mean, I'm just asking you to give my constituents at least a fighting chance at this. No secret, this was a campaign commitment that I wanted to find a way. I did all the research. We looked at finding TERS's, other grants. I mean, it's very difficult to come up with the $15 million that's needed for a rec center. I mean, there's no really other realistic way to get it done besides getting the voters' permission to do it. I looked back, if you go back to 1993, the last time that we did one of these, here were the items. 4.8 million for a police station proposition, 2.8 million for fire station proposition, 5.2 million that was for fire station fire training, 7 million for the library, the main library, 2.8 million for rec center propositions, and 4 million for the West Laredo Overseas Overpass. Very specific, right? I'm asking you all to, at the very least, give my constituents who've been asking for this for decades. Again, there's no indoor facility whatsoever for recreation or community gathering.
Mayor, I'm next on that.
You were next.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I'm next.
Hold on.
I'm on that. Mayor, if I may, please, thank you. Just a couple of things that I'd like to make clear. I'd like to ask my colleagues to please reconsider just the conversation of the LED sports lighting on 8 parks, which is all around the city, and the surveillance. The reason why I'm asking for those things particularly is because surveillance, as you all know, our parks get damaged every so often. And what it costs us to repair that is very expensive. And this $4 million will pay for itself within a couple of years. LED lighting, the same thing. LEDs, having those lights on versus any other type of light is a lot cheaper for the city as well. The savings at the end is what I'm talking about. And that's what we need to reconsider. As far as what Park is asking new administration in the warehouse building, Mr. Nebb, if you toy with the idea, if this bond passes and the police department has a new station, maybe we can move Parks into the old police station and another couple departments as well in that facility. It's a 65,000 square foot facility. It wouldn't cost us a penny, maybe a little bit to move them in there. But other than that, it wouldn't cost us much other than that. So they'd be able to get that administrative building, plus of course the surveillance lighting that I'm really pushing for, and also the LED lighting and the surveillance as well. Yeah, my colleagues. Yes, sir.
So, going back to the rec center, and I'm not trying to, go with my colleague, Let me just ask one question. Mr. Gomez, the water park, it's 15 million. That would be where?
It was proposed the land to be adjacent to the Buena Vista Sports Complex. Right now, we're using 150 acres for the Buena Vista Sports Complex. 50 acres of those were supposed to be for the potential build of a water park in phase 2, or phase 3 of whenever, if it decides to be built. So those 50 acres were planned to be used for the water park.
So what I'm trying to say is the water park right now, going back to the conversation that I know my colleague is trying to say that, the rec center is something that the community from District 6, six, right? They're really, they really need, because they need a meeting point. I've been reached out as well for the water park, and, but at the same time, we gotta understand that we don't need it right now. We want it, but we don't need it. The priority is, I would love a water park. It's so very hot in Laredo, how hot it is, how hot it gets in Laredo. So a water park will be not only for one district, it will be for the whole city. So we're not getting that for the whole city. I'm not trying to be the bad person for District 6 and say no. I'm just saying not right now. Maybe the next time in the referendum, 3 years from now, we'll go up for now, see how this works with the motion that we have on the floor right now, accepting the, what is it, the 348? 348. So accepting the 348 and continue and waiting for the next maybe 3 years, hopefully this passes, and supporting this, and then maybe the next time it passes, and we'll go out for the recs, for District 6 and District 8. But for right now, I think if we're not considering the water park, which will belong for the whole community, for the whole city, I think it's just, we gotta, accept the 348 for the 348 for that we have in the motion right now.
Go ahead.
I would just ask all my colleagues, why, I mean, we have a huge unfunded capital improvement plan, and with projects galore. But these are not all just random projects. Every one of you up here have projects that are currently unfunded in the CIP, a lot of them probably being under parks. My question is, if we're so quickly to go out for everything else that's been recommended by city administration, why would we not do the same thing here? But hey, if we give something tangible to every district, like we have, we've gone through the whole thing really fast. We have a capital improvement plan that's detailed. Well, why aren't we giving District 1, District 2, District 3, District 4 specific tangible projects that's already in our parks capital improvement plan that the people can go vote on? I'm not just trying to get something just for me in District 6. I guarantee you, Councilmember Gonzalez, I guarantee you have projects that are currently unfunded that you don't have enough, and you may never have enough money with district priority funds to get paid for, other than through a bond referendum. What would get people interested in voting more than something that tangibly affects their life in the neighborhood they can walk, in the park they can walk to? We're actually doing this the opposite right now. We are upside down on the bond so far, and it's totally fine to have a heavy public safety bond, but to have absolutely no quality of life park initiatives, that I promise no other city is doing that like that. So why don't we each look in our capital improvement plan that already exists on our website and look for projects. We can take a 20-minute recess and figure out, why aren't y'all adding projects that are already in our capital improvement plan that may never be funded if we don't give it a try here? Why don't we consider that? And that actually might get voters excited about voting for things on this referendum that tangibly, directly affects their lives. Well, would that be something you all would consider doing, and think about adding things that your constituents want and have always asked for? This is our chance. He mentioned 3 years. It might be 5. It might be 7 years. Some people have been waiting decades for some of these things that they've been asking for. I don't believe these are wants. These are needs. And bonds are actually intended to be for the wants more than the needs. Ironically, the point is to see if what the voters are willing to go for, whatever the permission is for. The problem is we've waited 33 years to actually do it, so we have so many needs that I get it, but Mayor, would you entertain a motion to recess and everyone go, let's look at the capital improvement plan and see what we can add for each district that could be of value to the people?
I don't think we need a recess because we've discussed it in workshops. Go ahead.
Point of order, there was a question on the floor before the motion.
There's already a motion.
There was a question on the floor before the motion.
With considerations for recess,
Hold on,
right?
hold on.
But
There's a question on the floor.
Go ahead and finish.
Mayor?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
They're saying there was a motion before this, so.
But we're still discussing that motion.
Yeah, we're still in discussion on that motion. So what was next?
Discussion. Mayor, just trying to.
Councilman Garza.
Who was on front? You want?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Look,
Go ahead.
I am of the thinking that, we ran through all of this before. There are some items like Ruben that I would want to remove from this, specifically from this deal. But it's not all of them. And I believe that what is good in one district may not be good in another. I realize that. I am proposing right now, I just broke it down into 50% of what is asked here. But it does, I mean, if a rec center is included in that area and it is supposed to be of a need for that particular area, people should understand that we need a rec center in that area. And that's it. It's not about us. It's about people of that district. And so, do I believe in the synthetic astroturf for the other ones? No, I do not. Not right now. That I would say wait 2 or 3 years to do. But if there's such a need for that area, that the people of that area are going to benefit from that, who am I to tell me tell District 6 that they don't deserve that? So, and then, again, as we mentioned earlier, these things are going to go on a line item basis. If the people of Laredo do not see fit that District 6 does not deserve a rec center, or District 8 does not deserve a rec center, after all, most bond issues are for brick and mortar. So we are telling everybody right now that we'd rather go with something else rather than brick and mortar. There's this section right here is something that is what I'm talking about over the next 2 days we need to discuss and decipher as to what is needed or not. That's my personal opinion on that issue. But if we're gonna move on to this and we're gonna put it in as part of the bond election in May, let the people decide on that. Because I don't want to be the one that says take it out for the next 2 or 3 years when it had a living chance. It had a living chance to survive in May. So that's that's my feeling. I think that if we're going to do this, let's do it right. If the people of the city do not want that, let them speak on this issue. And so therefore, I would want to leave it as is, but I was.
Sorry. The American flag is upside down.
Oh, sorry.
We had to fix that up.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Thank you very much. Anyway, my thought process is that we're talking simply about the bond election here. So what do we want in there? What don't we want? We can go ahead and take it off if this council so chooses, but we cannot. If it was already proposed and everybody in this audience and all the committee members spoke about it and brought it before us, I think it should be in there completely. But at this point, I think that the only things that it will not, I think that this particular item will not survive on its own. I think it needs to be diluted a little bit, but it does have to be in the bond election so that the people can decide what it is that they want and what they don't want.
All right, who's next?
Thank you. So I, how do you say it? I will associate myself with Councilmember Garza's, right? Something like that, comments. And in seeing that, I did want to ask a clarifying question. So the suggestion is that this will all be broken down, but my understanding is that it's not broken down to that degree. Parks and recreation go as one item that's either voted up or down. Is that correct? So the bond proposal will depend on the complete package in the Parks and Recreation proposal?
Yes, Rick Benavides for the record. Yes, right now, I'm sure you are provided with the draft propositions and all of that. So right now, the way they're categorized is based on the actual intent of the bond, right? So right now, it's very clearly organized: public health, streets, Hamilton, and Parks and Rec. Now, the actual proposition that's going to go to the voters isn't the actual referendum language. The referendum language will go in the back of the election pamphlet when it goes to the voters. But what the voters are going to see is what's in the proposition language. That's usually like a sentence long. Now, right now, there's 6 propositions. I know there's discussion about maybe, making them more definite, to be more specific. That's something that's up to the council's discretion, obviously. But it doesn't really require there to be a very specific line item.
Well, my question, I guess, is whatever we decide as the package for Parks and Rec will be voted up or down? And so whatever we include, if all of it passes or none of it will pass,
So
right? You cannot take out a single item from the proposal.
We would need to change the language of the, second, let me see the way it's drafted. We will need to change the language of the measure, because right now the measure is drafted to encompass everything that was listed, that was brought to the council for approval.
Everything that we decide on now.
Right. So if for whatever reason you wanted to take something off, we would remove that language so that it's more accurate to what the voters are going to be voting on.
So I do think we need another, thank you very much for that. I do think we need another discussion after this about what this does to the tax increase. But I do see some benefit to putting parks and recreation items up to the voters. It needs to be clear, though, what that tax burden will be then. Because if you look at, the Zacate Creek Trail System, if we're talking about public health and getting into outdoor spaces, that trail system runs from South Laredo all the way to North Laredo. And you can't be on it in the fall through the spring without lighting, not safely, right? And so I think that would be a big draw, and compared to what we're asking for, $1 million does not seem to be so heavy a price. I know it all adds up in the end. Also, the surveillance, I also will associate myself with the comments of Councilmember Gutierrez that we want people to be out in the parks. We want them to feel safe, and for that we do need cameras. I know there was some proposals that cameras were coming in. The issue with this is just making clear the number of cameras. We have so many proposals that have sort of that minutia, and we don't have that for the parks. So it would be better to have, what kind of cameras, how many, instead of this round number without that minutia. And then the other shovel-ready project, or at least it seems to me it was pretty comprehensive, was the item that came up last meeting, which was not included in well, I guess it's included now, the mountain bike trails, because it is not clear here. It says mountain bike trails for Shiloh, but it also, that 2.5 million encompassed Fasken area, Chequan Creek area, a lot of different areas around the city for trail improvements and really enhancing the experience of people that go out to these beautiful spaces. And at 2.5 million, it just seems to me to be an easy way to get a big impact for Parks and Recreation. So that's something else that I would support. I think Councilmember King made some very good argument for the rec center. I do wish we had time to have a better discussion about maintenance and operations and how Parks is going to absorb that into their budget. I think, I don't know if we do that now, it would perhaps calm some of the council members' concerns about putting an item out like that. But I am swayed by his arguments and would like to see that in the bond proposal.
All right. Who's next? Go ahead.
Mayor, just a quick question. I know District One is blessed with the recreational center, and as an member of it, and as a taxpayer, I want to thank the BP Newman family for donating the land. My only question is, has any rec centers throughout the city been built through a bond referendum? That way, if some of them have, then I could tell my constituents of District One, well, it's our time to subsidize and, promote this.
J.G. Gomez again, Parks and Rec, in discussion with Ms. Stanley, she has been here longer than I have. I think the first four, Farias, Margarito, Cigarroa, and Hillside, those did go out on bond referendum, Councilman.
And they got approved, built
yes.
with bonds?
Yes. Yeah, those four did. And if you notice, if you've been to all of them, they're all cookie cutter. They're all kind of the same size that was passed through the same design for those four.
They're tiny.
So
They're small.
they're small. Yeah.
And District, what about El Eden?
El Eden, to my knowledge, El Eden was not. That was through a capital CIP, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say capital improvement, Councilman, but don't quote me on that. Let me go back and check on that because we need to go back and check. I'll find that out here in just a minute.
Mr. Gomez, how many parks exist in Laredo?
Parks?
How many parks?
122, Mayor. 122 parks here that we have in our park in our system.
And out of those, only 4 went out for bond, or more than that?
Oh, parks? Or are you talking about rec centers?
Rec centers.
Oh, rec centers. We have 7 rec centers.
7.
7 rec centers. Yes, sir.
And they all went out for bond?
Only 4 did.
4.
Only 4 of the smaller ones we did.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
So I just kind of want to talk a little bit about this. I understand that we all do have CIP projects that have been unfunded for many years. Like some of us are on our 2nd term and we still have things in our district that are unfunded. I see a few of my items that we haven't funded in 4 years on here as well. But what I hear from the public right now is that they want us to focus on water. They know that I don't know if they realize we're not including water because we've already bonded out $300 million. We're working towards bonding out to replace all of our water infrastructure. I hear from public that they want more public safety. They're constantly asking for more presence from police, faster response times from fire. I feel that this bond and public health as well, we're underserved, we're medically underserved, we have a lot of health issues in our community, and also the Hamilton Hotel has been a long-standing issue that people have been wanting us to fix and address. We are, I believe, addressing in the issues, in the items that we've already approved, we are correcting a lot of issues that need correcting that are long-standing. We could go out for a Parks and Rec bond of, $200-300 million, just like we saw Round Rock does. But we do have to be careful that the public is right now concerned with the high sticker shock of the $500 million. That's a lot of the feedback that I've been getting. I think what we're at right now is something that the public is comfortable with, more comfortable with than what was being proposed initially. My colleague, Mr. Garza, Councilman Garza, commented that the committees, recommended certain things, but I do want to point out that some of these items were not recommended by the committee. If you notice, some of them weren't. So I just think that at this time, Parks and Rec can come at it's not necessary. It's not that it's a want. I understand that investing in parks, and I'm a full proponent of that. But we have to prioritize, and right now I think our priorities need to be, like what the mayor said, health and public safety. And so this, I would like to modify, am I acting right now, Mayor?
I didn't bother you because you were speaking.
Okay. Well, I would like to make the motion to modify my motion, for Parks and Rec to include the LED and the surveillance. So I'm gonna make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Yeah, so that's the motion that's on the floor right now is
We
to,
got a first one first. One order, Mayor? One more time?
Yeah, first one's
What's
for
what's the, you know?
my initial motion was to deny everything, but I just amended it to actually pass the lighting and the surveillance and deny everything else. That's the motion on the floor.
Second.
So we'll call for the question on that. Oh, who's next?
I was just,
Oh,
you know, Mayor Pro Tem, I guess. Yep, I understand you've heard my arguments, everyone. I don't know if it's for, no surprise, my request for an amendment is to include, you mentioned LED, surveillance, and requesting that you consider adding, an additional $15 million for Rec Center for District 6. Would you accept the amendment?
Mayor, I'm not gonna accept that amendment.
Point of information, just for clarity, I mean, you have a motion and then you have a amended motion that was seconded. You can also amend that motion. If you get a second, then you vote and you go back in line. So you don't have to ask for acceptance, just so you know.
I'll second Dr. King's motion then.
Then you all would vote on the second amended, and then if that passes, then you vote on the first amendment, and if that passes, then you vote on the original.
Okay, so can I amend this second of the amendment? So I would
This is
like.
fine, that'll be the fourth one.
We have time. I wanted to amend it, to include the 2 trail systems. And I'm glad to see that the surveillance cameras are going in. But the reason being because of what Mayor Pro Tem said. This is a health and wellness consideration. So when you think about the rec center, we know, we can brag about our trail systems and I think we need to improve them because from fall to spring, people can be outside. And that is a healthy activity and we're focusing on health and wellness. So it's a good thing to improve the trails that we have for the public. But we know that from spring to part of fall, it is a little unbearable for some of our population to be outside. And so if District 6 does not have that ability, because there is no indoor recreation space, then I think we should include it as part of, all we've talked about is health and wellness and of course security. But it just makes sense that we would want them to have a place to be able to exercise and not force them, not that they would be forced to, but be out in the sun. That they would have the option, like every other district almost, to be out there exercising and improving their health and wellness.
Okay, just call for the question.
That would require Dr. King to accept my amendment and then for everybody to vote on that, right?
No,
Make a call
if
for the
someone
question.
seconds yours, then that's
Yeah,
what's.
so Mayor, we were gonna walk you back through this as well too. So what Zone is talking about is that Mayor, or Councilmember Figueroa laid out a motion to add the 2 trail systems. You now would need a second to add those. The amendments to the motion before.
I'll walk it back.
Doesn't really exist, though, does it? Yeah.
I think we can walk it back.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify a few things on, we've talked a lot about equity for the different areas around town. One of the concerns that I've been hearing for the past years that I've been on council is that why does everything go to the north? And that's just a thing that I'm pretty sure my colleagues in the south can understand that or vouch for, that they've heard that a lot. And I'm not trying to say, I'm just trying to talk equity-wise. We have 2 heated pools. One of them is in North Central Park. We have the only ADA-compliant playground that was installed in North Central Park. We have the tennis courts at the United Day School that we rent and pay for and renovated that are also in the north. There are, I know Dr. Marte, when Dr. Marte was on council, he renovated one of the pickleball court, or the racquetball courts at the heated pool that has, you know, a lot of gym equipment in there. And there's the other room that can also be used either for racquetball or for something else. There is an indoor little space there. It's not that we're trying to deny District 6 anything, it's that we're talking about priorities and we're talking about equitable distribution of resources. And that's why I'm in favor of, you know, the items that I motioned for. It's not that I'm trying to say that District 6 doesn't need or doesn't deserve. It's that I mean, look at what these items that are here for my area have been on the board for a couple years now, and we still don't have them funded, and I'm still willing to sacrifice those projects because I don't want those projects and other of these projects to kill the entire bond, because at some point people are going to turn it down because of the high amount. So I think we all have to kind of be realistic about what we can pass so that we don't sacrifice essential projects that have been waiting in the pipeline to have some of these projects that just came up recently jump the line and then kill everything else.
All right, we need to call for the question. There's several things that need
If I
to
may
be.
walk it back,
Yeah.
is there a second to Councilmember Figueroa's third amended motion?
Which is the trails.
Yes. If there's not, then that may go back.
Okay, was there a second on that?
No.
No second. So now we go to Dr. King's second amendment. Which was seconded, so you vote on whether to accept that amendment.
Which was, can you
Has to
repeat
be
that, please?
repeated.
Dr. King, and there was a second on the motion to add the rec center.
Only. So the first.
And that amendment is only for that item. So that's what you're voting on this time.
Okay. All right.
And Mayor, and the first one was to only accept the lighting and the surveillance
Yes.
from parks and.
And we'll go back to
Go
that.
back on that one. Let's vote on this one.
So the
We haven't
vote
voted on
that you're
this.
gonna take is whether or not to add the rec center to the motion.
Correct.
All right,
You have a first, you have a motion, you have a second.
all right. Everybody clear?
Yes.
All in favor? Opposed?
Roll call, Mayor.
Opposed?
I am opposed.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motion failed.
So now you have
Go to
the
the original
first
now.
amendment,
Now we're back
which
to Mayor
is
Pro Tem.
the lighting.
The lighting and the surveillance from parks only.
She has a motion and a second from me.
All right. Okay, there's a motion, there's a,
The total for that is $17.8 million. Before we vote, Mayor, can you give us the total amount we'll be at? I think it's 365, 831, 455. Just what the impact's gonna be from what it was before, the 9 cents, to what it'll be now with adding this to it, please.
And Mayor, just to clarify, I had originally made a motion to deny everything, just so we could wait until another bond for these things, but it was requested for these items, so I amended my motion.
The 13.8 plus the $4 million. LED sport lighting on 8 parks and the surveillance.
Those two on your.
Correct.
Mayor, may I be directed?
yes, go ahead.
So, Mr. Gomez, sir, which are the 8 parks that you're considering to light up with the LEDs and change out?
Okay, so the 8 parks that we have identified are, if passed, of course, is the 3 at Benavides Softball Complex, Community Field at Del Marcy, one of the new, Father McNichol Field, soccer multi-purpose fields, because those are one of our ones that we always have the most trouble with.
Those are located where?
The 3 soccer multi-purpose fields in the very bottom of Father McNichol.
Oh.
I'm trying to work north to south. So there's 3, the Father McNichol, Community, Slaughter, the 3 fields at Slaughter, the 3 multi-purpose fields at Slaughter. Those are that's the next one. And the next one will be the base fields, the 8 base fields that we have at the base.
That's,
The Hillside Baseball Complex?
Yes, the Hillside Baseball Complex.
All right. Do we have a cost savings?
On the packet, let me have the packet. I can kind of give you a, so I won't have to with the whole. I'll give you an example. I'm going to give you an example, just so that Mayor and Council. So one of the requests that you all had asked was to compare the LED to the metal halogen that we have. After talking to various with our page 6, okay, with LED lighting, which does a proposal. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna read this out, if you don't mind, so I can. All right, so I'm gonna use the example of the 3 soccer field lights that are our Father Magnum. Those are the ones we have 90 light bulbs, okay? 90 light bulbs. Okay, so metal halogen that we have right now, which is the old school ones. Currently, we have a total of 90 metal halogen lights that so far run 1,825 hours a year for a total of 246,375 kilowatts that are being used a year. If we go on the average, because on the city negotiates with CP&L, we might get like a lower rate because of the volume that we use. We kind of put it at a 0.5 cent per kilowatt. So we use it, the 3 fields at Father Magnum, we use it 246,375 kilowatts times 0.5 cents. So just on those 3 fields, we pay about $12,318 on an electrical bill. No, a year, annually, okay? I'm just using those 3 fields.
So, sir,
Go ahead.
how much money are we receiving back from all the tournaments, or is there anything?
Very minimal.
So what are the fees of those fields?
The field is $200. It's just $200 a day.
So how many times do they get rented, Mr. Gomez?
For those fields that I'm just talking about, Tommy, correct me if I'm wrong, I would say maybe they use for soccer tournaments, right? And maybe some flag football tournaments that we actually use them.
So they're used for flag football,
Right.
for flag football tournaments, coach?
Yeah.
They're also used for league play for soccer as well.
Right. So, remember, league soccer, if they're affiliation, we don't charge them because that's part of the contract. So, maybe we use it once a month, Councilmember Rangel, that somebody actually pays for it, for a flag football tournament or a soccer tournament, once a month. Okay, at $200, which we're really discussing now that will be currently until we get back. So, remember, we pay $12,318 a year just on those 3 fields. If we were to convert it to LED on the same comparison, LED using the same 1,825 hours a year for a total of 49,275 kilowatts at 5 cents, we would pay $2,463 a year compared to what we pay now of $12,318. And I'm just comparing those 3 fields. I'm just going apples with apples. All right? Just so you can have an idea of the metal halogen that we have with the LED. And if I may add, everybody's converting to LED environmental safely, and it's more environmentally, that we're trying to produce less energy and all that. So it's a big significance that we're trying to change out, if possible.
All right.
Mayor.
Go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying that we'll have a cost savings of if you're thinking that is 3 fields and you're talking about 8 fields, so maybe, please, $30,000, right, a year? Savings, because you're $10,000 for 3 fields.
So for those 3 same fields, we pay $12,318 a year.
Right.
If
So
we
that's
go-
$10,000 for 3 fields, and let's round this up to 9. So
Yes.
it's $30,000 a year that we would be saving in electricity costs.
Councilwoman, for those 3, I would probably, just for easy math, about $10,000 a year, just for those 3 fields.
Right.
¿Verdad?
9 fields would be approximately,
Oh,
or 8
yes, I see
fields
what
would
you're
be
saying.
approximately $30,000.
Yes.
A little less.
Yes, ma'am.
You're asking for an investment of $13 million
Mhm.
to save $30,000. And it is not that I don't think that $30,000 is not nothing. But $13 million to replace these lights. We know that technology tends to create lower prices in the future.
Right.
As LED gets to be cheaper. And I would imagine this housing, so you're talking about replacing all the housing for these lights. It's not just the bulbs,
That's correct.
right? It's the whole thing.
Like the old school require ballasts, the ballasts in the back. These LED lights don't require any ballasts. You would change that into some kind of chips. And I know Mr. Ross is here. There's a new, like you said,
So
better
when,
software
when,
to
I guess
replace
my
everything.
point is, when we're talking about cost benefit, waiting 3 years or 4 years, whenever the next bond,
Right.
and not spending $13 million, yes, it'll cost us $30,000 a year for the next 3 or 4 years, but either sinking that money into a different project or saving it.
Right.
I just think that the cost-benefit analysis really doesn't lend itself to us proposing $13 million to spend on upgrading the light system, not with that amount of savings.
Right.
It's just, it just doesn't make sense when we have so many other needs in our community, in my opinion. And I could see, I mean, if we're willing to do that, I could see spending it on the rec center or on the trail system. I mean, there are just other priorities when you're talking about how much money we would actually save.
Right.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Coach, how
Yes.
much do we spend on replacing the bulbs that we have now? And is there a way to, instead of changing the housing, is there a way to, as we need to buy bulbs, just replace them with an LED bulb in the existing housing?
Okay, so replacing the bulb costs us just a regular bulb, because you have to change the balance as well. It costs us about close to about $1,000 per light bulb to change it out. All right, and we had 90 of them over there, so about last year we played. I think we had to fix like about 35. At the same time, decided to go all out. So we ended up paying about $35,000 just to fix those 35.
But is there
bulbs.
a way to buy LEDs and
To convert-
slowly convert them as the other ones wear out? And so we don't have to go with the whole full conversion?
Yes.
Mr. Gomez, is there a possibility we can use district priority funds to start changing those lights? Can we use our district priority funds like every other year or every year, or?
I don't
How much does it
know if it's
cost?
a district priority, but it's brick and mortar, I would
Brick
imagine.
and mortar, imagine. So, but I'm saying not change the whole fields, but maybe one field at a time, like you said, Benavides. But yeah, just one
yeah.
field and then change the other one, and we'll go on and so forth, right?
Yes, right. Come up with a plan and put it in.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Gomez, if you know, how long does a typical halogen bulb last that costs $1,000 to repair versus an LED?
3 years. A
The
metal
lifespan of a
halogen, a metal halogen light bulb lasts 3 years. An LED lighting about 5 years. And with the driver, the chip is 100,000 hours.
What is the
That lasts now.
replacement cost of an LED light should it go out?
I might be off a little bit, but according to what Mr. Barra said, to change it out, it costs about $250 to $300 to change it out, and whenever it does, compared to about $1,000 to change out the house.
And you just mentioned you just replaced 35 of them?
35 out of the 90 at Father Magnum.
This is at one park?
At one park.
$35,000?
Yes, sir.
One day?
Yep. One big hit.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one, Mr. Gomez. Other than that, everybody in this building was supposed to, including staff, was supposed to direct us to a just-in-case moment. Just in case we don't allow this to be on the bond election.
Right.
Do you have an alternate plan of action to support your needs here?
And which one, Councilman Garcia? Which?
Down the line, administratively, I like Mr. Gutierrez's, idea about going into the we're gonna have to put somebody in the police department, so you guys might go in there. But just down the line is what I'm saying, we have until Friday, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Neb, that we, I just don't know between now and Friday or now and Thursday, what's gonna change here.
It's
Today is it?
At most, you can recess till tomorrow, at most.
Okay. So I'm saying that if, we just dwindled this down and we just diluted it enough so that we can almost say that we can just get rid of the whole Parks and Recs and we're down to this section over here, only because I really think that a certain game plan over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, we can replace it or add surveillance and convert everything to LED. I'm not completely satisfied that $21 million in doing this is gonna be something that, would worth going into Parks and Recs and getting it done. I think there's other options in there, but I think in this shorter period of time, because of these questions, that we don't have the direct answer. We can go to bond, we can just leave these two in there, but we do have time to say, you know what, we found it elsewhere. Over the next 3 or 4 years, we can remove it. What I'm saying is that we remove one item later on? Mr. Neb?
Councilman Garza, I mean, the thing would be to, for us to put it in the budget, right? For us to be added in the budget that,
Yeah.
okay, you know what, let's just say Father Magnum. That's the one that gets the most use because, you know, those things are on we also use it for security purposes because, you know, Border Patrol also helps with.
No, I'm with you on all of that.
So we can identify, this is the first 3 that need to go. The next one, these are the ones that are going. I mean, we can do that.
No, but, and so I think everybody can adjust and do all those type of things. What I'm trying to get at is that we've diluted it enough already that, it's only gonna be a small section in there for Parks and Recs. And it was, you know, while it is important, completely important to do, I'm just saying that if we vote this thing in right now, do we have the ability to scratch it, later on? Because it's 21 million. I don't think it's gonna move the needle. I think it's gonna be, a line item that's gonna be checked in automatically.
Mayor,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just in line and kind of reading the room, I think that I would like to withdraw my motion and just make the original motion to deny, to put Parks and Recs for a future time, bond out just for Parks and Recs, and include all of that in a future bond, so we can improve our Parks and Recs, and do it right in one shot, so the public knows that that's what we're gonna be voting on only, and just focus, like we said, on the other items.
I'll second
So
that.
That's my motion.
I'll second.
Would you accept my amendment if I add the surveillance?
Okay, if I may, Mayor, point of information.
Yes, go ahead.
The amendment was withdrawn and the second accepted it, so that is withdrawn. So now the only thing is the original motion unless you want to do a new amendment.
Just amendment, just to add the surveillance.
All right. We need to vote.
Then he would need a
He
second.
needs a second. All right, do you have a second already?
I'll second for the surveillance.
Okay. Second for surveillance.
We need that.
Let's repeat the whole motion. I think everybody's,
Can I ask a good question about the surveillance?
yeah, go
Yeah, I
ahead.
just have a quick question about, will the surveillance, or are you planning the surveillance cameras alongside the, police department surveillance system?
Yeah, Councilwoman, Mayor, council members, yes, ma'am. So we have had a task force, so to say, between Parks and Rec, PD, IT, and we've identified, we have a plan of action that these are where we have the most vandalism and most illegal activity. So we already came up with the first 100 cameras that we strategically put them, and I vouch to Tommy Ramirez because that's his, he's handling that project, that we came up with a plan. Is that correct, Tommy? That we came up with a plan that for the next cameras that we get, these are the next areas they're gonna go. And the next year, we get another 100 cameras, this is where the next one's gonna go. Because we have met continuously, frequently, and they're all tied into live streaming, I guess, and real life, to where PD can watch that in live.
Mayor, I'd like to accept
Go ahead.
Councilmember Rangel's amendment to just include the surveillance.
All right. Can we repeat the whole motion? Repeat
Actually,
the whole motion.
because it's an amendment and a second, you just vote whether you're going to add the surveillance.
Yes.
All right.
So now you all vote.
Motion
on
and
the
second.
amendment.
All right, motion and second.
I have one question about the cameras.
We already have a motion and a second.
Yes, could I ask him about the surveillance cameras, since he brought up an item?
All right, make it.
Mr. Gomez, you had said that you have a plan to carry out,
Mm-hmm.
so why put this $4 million in this plan? Does this cover exactly the other cameras that are lacking?
It would cover, yes, ma'am, it would cover the rest of the next 4 phases that we would like to implement.
So you could do it all at once?
Well, we
And
would,
have they been, so I guess my question is, so if they were budgeted in future budgets, is this a cost savings to your budget?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Well, but the question is because most of the things, not all of them, of course, are brick and mortar,
Right.
and they lie outside of the regular budget, and that's why you want to do it. I understand there's an urgency to get it all because we would like these parks to be surveilled.
Right.
For the safety of the public. But my question is it something that's going to be a budget savings to you going forward?
Okay, so as part of the budget department, the maintenance and repairs that was mentioned earlier, that comes out of their operating budget. The purchasing of the surveillance system like this, which is 4 million, that would probably go into one of our bonds because it would not be able to be absorbed in his operations, $4 million. So previous cameras that we've done through the general obligation, the contractual obligation bonds.
All right, okay. Call for the question. We have motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed.
So now you vote on the original motion to deny everything but accept the surveillance cameras.
Yes.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion second. All in favor? Opposed?
This is for
Motion
the,
passed.
what was this for? Sorry. To deny everything. Oh.
Deny everything except the camera.
Motion passes. Two against, 4 in favor. Motion passes. That was complicated.
Everything else was killed off.
Mayor, can we see what our total is for the impact on the public if we may?
348,
Go ahead. Yeah, that was your question?
Just to recap, for the Parks and Recs, which is gonna be only the cameras, is $4 million. And that brings our total to $352,031,455. The impact would be 9 cents still. Let me see, pick it up.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
I know we're getting into Public Works next, and I know that we're behind on paving, and we've seen the presentation, and the plan that was presented was over four years, but, I think that we could get some improvements now and then reconsider future bonds for the rest, so, I'd like to make a motion to bond out for $30 million for Public Works for paving. That's my motion.
A motion? No second?
Sure, I'm not clear on the.
You wanna repeat your motion?
My motion is, they're requesting 120 million, my motion is to approve 30 million to bond out 30 million so that they can do some public works paving. That's my motion.
How much would that put the cent on?
Well, Mayor, there needs to be a second for discussion and
No
not
second
dice.
for discussion?
Second for discussion.
Second for discussion. All right, go ahead.
How much would that put the cent on?
That would take us to 10 cents. 1 more cent. 10 cents, and it would be a total amount of 382 million.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
This is summary. Or
The impact or the?
yeah, the impact, there you go.
Mayor, can I request?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you show this one versus you remove it?
Yes. So we're at 350, 352, yes. Oh, in a separate column?
14 to 16.
Make it a separate column. We'll copy it.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
The reason why I'm motioning that is because the presentation showed a lot of streets that were in, disrepair to the point that they need to be completely resurfaced and restructured, and I just don't think Public Works has enough in their budget, annual budget, to do something like that. We could not do it and keep it without it, but, the public does ask us to recondition our streets, and they would see an immediate impact on that. But I'm just throwing it out there if my colleagues want to amend it or change it.
I'd like to see, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see if we can, I know we're reconsidering it, but I still don't know how we get to the $30 million mark. I know that we all have a packet here. Mine shows an incredible amount of streets that are in poor condition. And are we saying that they do have most of that covered? Are we saying that we have most of that covered in their regular budget, annual budget?
Which one, Councilman?
I'm talking about the street paving.
Mr. Garza, if I may,
Yes,
Mayor?
go ahead.
My motion, Councilmember Garza, was based on the presentation from Public Works in the workshop. They showed, 30 million a year for the next 4 years, so it was a 120 over.
That's all I
If
need
they
to know.
have that presentation, if you can show
Okay,
that.
good. I wasn't privy to that, so, I wasn't privy to that, so.
We have it in one of our slides here, not the presentation, but the amount, it was 30 million per year for the next 4 years, which was a total amount of 120 million that Councilman Vanessa was,
So what we're saying that we want to bond out for 1 year, so that, and figuring on how we do the second, third, and fourth after that year.
we would only have monies for 30 million to start the process, the paving program.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
What,
Go you
I was
first.
just going to ask for one order of where we're at right now. What's the motion?
The motion and a second for discussion, correct?
There is a second?
Yes, ma'am, for
Okay.
discussion only.
Any other questions?
I was trying to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, since you're the mayor, right? But, yeah, so we talked about utilities and what are people constantly asking about? Generally, it's, fix the water issue and pave the streets, right? So that's, top two issues. So for me, I think this is something people are willing to invest in. And the 30 million would be great. I know it was recommended 30 million over 4 years. Even that won't pave all the streets that need to be paved, right? That's just a starting point. And again, this is for street reconstruction, not for resurfacing that, our public work team currently do. This would be for completely reconstructing streets that haven't been reconstructed in over 30 years. So, to the can getting kicked down the road conversation, the cost of paving is only going to be going up, right? So, I'm personally for, the full amount that was requested for, but, by Public Works and, engineering.
Mayor, just
city
a
manager.
clarification on that. The initial amount of 120,000 was broken up into two amounts: preservation of 36 million and rehabilitation of 84 million, which was 120. So it's a combination, and our city engineer can explain a little bit more. But we want to go ahead and start repaving some of the streets or reconstruction, but also we want to maintain some of the streets that still have a useful life so that we delay the process of reconstruction on those. So there is a portion of that 120 is a 36 million for preservation, and the rehabilitation of 84 million. So if we were to do 30 million, we would break down that into the preservation amount and the rehabilitation amount as well.
Question? Go
Mayor,
ahead.
so what reconstruction, it falls under preservation or rehabilitation?
The reconstruction?
Yes.
Can you hear me? I can answer that. Honorable Mayor, members of City Council, Ramon Chavez, Assistant City Manager. Basically, 70% of that is recommended to go into reconstruction or rehabilitation, and 30% of the amount to go into the preservation to maintain our streets.
Go ahead.
I just want to request, can you put a third column that shows us approving the entire requested amount of 120 million, just for comparison purposes?
That was in one, two, a little bit over.
So that includes 120 million. That would take us to 472 million, 31,455.
And what would that look like on that?
The impact analysis, that would require 12 cents to get to the 472. And it would have an impact of a yearly cost, estimated cost of $236 with a monthly amount estimated at the 200 average home of $19.60.
Can you put that in the third column, please? And keep the original column the way it was with the, at before, please? Just so we can see what we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I have a question. How much money would be able to bond for paving and keep it at 10 cents?
There you go, yeah, yes.
Yeah, because we can do it 90, that's what I 90, but I want to keep it.
Just 1 cent, no, it was a 30 million. 30 million.
The 30 million would keep us at 10 cents. 30 million.
With the 30 million, I believe it kept, it was right at 10 cents. Yeah.
But I'm sure we can still fit in more funding and keep it at 10 cents. It's not the max.
Okay.
Try 40 or 48.
No. It'll be
40?
way up higher.
Huh?
42,
42, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 32.
That's at 35, still at 10 cents.
Okay, yeah, 35 still at 10, so it's probably 42 or 48.
48?
That's at 40, still at 10 cents.
Yeah, try 48.
Do I hear 60?
It's still good?
52.
No, 60. Yeah, around 60. Yeah, only 60 now.
Eso fue grande.
Sí, se mueve.
That's it at 10?
You might check your formula again.
Yeah. we copied one of the columns.
About 150.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're at.
Oh, it changes, all right.
The thing is, we have like 8 or 9 decimals, so I need to open all the decimals and you'll see them changing. So
then try 70?
the summary?
Can you try 70?
70?
Well, that's
We're at
right.
80. At 80, still we're at 10 cents.
Oh, at 80?
75?
At 80? At 80 we're 10? 75.
No, it's 70. 70.
32.
Too much.
Missing a zero there, pal.
Yeah, so if you could accept the amendment to, put 70?
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, amendments, second?
So
All in favor?
the motion is to
You
go
have
out
the
for
motion?
for $70 million on paving.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Is it 70 for the 10 cents? Cause
It's stated.
11 cents. We're at 11 cents still.
no, we said
Get it down to 10.
What's
Okay,
the maximum? You
65?
wanted the maximum?
So 65.
So it's 65. There you go.
65 million, Mayor.
10 cents.
All right. All right. So it's you have a motion as amended? Any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Oh, one opposed.
Very good. Mr. Sparta, can you do us a recap of everything?
Yes, starting on public safety, fire, we have, council approved motions of 85,353,550,000. For police, we have 181,796,905. For health, we have the 70,881,000. The Health and Wellness Community Development Hamilton Project, 110 million. The Public Works Paving Program, 65 million. And the Parks and Recreation, 4 million, for a total of $431,455. I do want to add here, I do have a column on the right that has to, when we finance in increments of 5,000. So that number would be 417 million with $40,000. So we're rounding up to the nearest 5,000 increment.
Let's just make sure those 23,000 don't jump us to the 11 cent.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
For the propositions, I guess that's the next, battle or decision. Like, would fire and police be put together as a public safety proposition, or would they be separate?
Yeah, Mayor, that would be the next part of the conversation is our ordinance to place out there. Right now, we have 6 propositions. You have the draft document in there, and I believe we have laid out exactly how that spreadsheet is, right? Police, fire, health, community development, streets, and so.
Correct, Council. Rick Benavides, for the record. You all have a draft in front of you. The proposed propositions are laid out in a certain order. You have discretion in which order you want to put them in. But right now, they are listed as fire and police separately.
All right, so if you look at this spreadsheet, go back to that spreadsheet, please. Yeah, the one before. So the 6 categories on the side are essentially the propositions that are on this draft ordinance. Fire, police, health, community development, public works, and parks and recreation. I don't know if those terms are used exactly, but that's how that's broken down.
Mayor, if I may.
Go ahead.
I know that the request was looking at it from, the penny impact, but, we're still over the $400,000 mark, and I think, if I can go back to the yellow, the other one that you had, the impact, how much did it change the annual and the monthly fee when we went from the initial 30 million for paving to where we're at right now? I think it's helpful to see the different columns and options, because right now we're just seeing one. We've been talking about different options and amounts.
Just use this one. Just put this one in. This one. Put in the number 417. You cannot write this one. She wants to use what? She wants to see the before and after.
Mayor, can we do like a 5-minute, 10-minute recess so they can give us the different
Yeah,
column
let me add
amounts,
another
so
column.
can
We
come
need
back
to,
and
some of the columns are
finalize?
protected, so I need to go in and protect some of the
Well-
columns to create another column.
Yeah, because originally, Mayor, I was thinking more like 350 to bond out, more or less. We're all at 417, and I understand that the cent impact is the same, but I want to see the difference, if it's, you know, $1, maybe $2.
Would you need a 5-minute recess for this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do a 5-minute recess. Back in session?
We're not gonna
That's
meet
my
tomorrow.
little miss.
Face all my-
And it's at 65,000.
All right. Did you get all the numbers?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Honorable Mayor, Jesus Esparza with the Budget Department. So the one column G here has the 30 million of paving. The total is 382,040. The 417 is at the 65 million that we talked about for paving. So what I did is I expanded the decimals on the cents, so you can see that it's 0.09551 at the 30 million for the paving projects, and at the 65, it's 0.10426. So the impacts there are, the difference is 1750 on the annual, and then $1.46 on the monthly difference between the 382 million and the 417 million.
It's just 30 million.
Yeah, no, now, keep in mind that this,
I do the motion for 382, 40.
Go ahead. All right, motion, second. Go ahead.
Can you show that again?
yes, the analysis of the total for the,
So,
right here.
when we were talking about Public Works, and I think it was Dr. King or Councilmember Garza that spoke about what the public looks for and what they ask for. And if anything is true, I believe in all our districts, they do ask for streets to be paved. This is, 65 million does not represent the entire amount that Public Works is asking for. It's half of that. And so I feel that it is already a compromise. And when we're looking at the impact, it's negligible. A bond election is supposed to give a dramatic impact of what will be improved, what can be improved over the short amount of time span that we have. And if Public Works has a plan to spend out that 65 million, I just feel like that will show the public that we can bond out money and spend it in ways that make a tremendous difference to the quality of the streets that they drive every single day. For the increase in amount from 0.60313 to 0.61188, it's negligible impact to what they see every month and also over the year. I think we get a bigger bang for our buck if we go ahead and choose the 10-cent increase versus the 9.5-cent increase.
I'm not sure if there was a second, sorry.
There's a second. Go ahead.
And my sense is that, you know, the council is focused on trying to get this number, the top number below 400 million. But at the end of the day, if it's 382, the media, the public, they're going to round up and say it's 400. I mean, so that's just an impression I'm having. I think we also like have to make the decision based on like what the actual need is. And I mean, it seems like we're liking even numbers and things like that. The 10 cents is there, you know, if we want to stick to that. But I mean, this is I don't know when we're going to do this again, guys. Are we going to do this again in 3 years, 5 years, 33, another 33 years? So, you know, to Councilmember Garza's point, you know, you don't want to see the progress of the roads being reconstructed and then say, dark nabbit, I wish we would have went for 65 million back on February 11th, 2025 when we had the chance. It's not like we're going to do this every year. So I'm just kind of echoing Councilmember Garza's point on that. And we already cut it down from 120 to 65 to get to the 10-cent number. So I would be in favor of.
All right. Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, I mean, those are my sentiments. As far as I'm concerned, we got rid of all of Parks and Rec, you know, pretty much. So, I think the good use of our money would be in the latter on the 417. Only because I think that over a long period of time, this is what a bond does. We're going out for a long-term solution. We're financing a long-term solution here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, a question for you gentlemen is, are we prepared to finance this ourselves? And probably the answer is no, over the next 30 years, and we are able to finance it ourselves. The answer is no, that's why we're doing this, right? So that's why we're going to the public and saying, we need this money so we can accomplish our goal and set us up for the next 30 years when we do this. So, you know, I think we, for the latter's sake, to short out, you know, paving and rehabilitation, I think is not a good idea in my mind. But it doesn't mean that this does not mean going from 417 to 382 that only the paving and rehabilitation is affected, right? We're not saying that with everybody across the board. We're looking at a total amount of 382 million. So to get that, everybody's going to take a hit on everything that we went through, or just paving?
The way the numbers are presented right now, it's only paving. Paving is either 30 or 65, and those are the numbers, the comparison.
30 and 60, okay, very good.
30 or 65. The 417, we can do 65 in paving.
So we can do 2 years. In my mind, I thought 1 year was not enough. I think 2 years of paving was going to be appropriate.
All right. Any other questions?
Mayor, my question to Councilman Gonzalez is, do you want to stick to your motion of the 382, or do you want to amend it to the 417?
All right, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yes.
I think it's important that the public understands that this would be a public health and safety request. And for them to understand like what the projects are and what they're gonna see for their investment, and to help us, you know, grow the community. So I'd like to request that PIO start putting together some packages of the projects with some proposals so that the public can start to see this as well. And I think we should have this as one item on the ballot. I don't know what my colleagues believe or think, but when are we going to look at the language that's proposed? Tonight?
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor and City Council, the next part of the exercise is to correct the ordinance. I believe that we're optimistic we're going to be done tonight. So, but the ordinance is the next piece. Right now, the ordinance is drafted with 6 propositions on it. broken down in that area, and I think what Mayor Pro Tem is talking about is putting them all together into one.
Right.
And so I'll leave it to bond counsel and our legal team to actually walk you through that, because if we change the question, we just need to make sure we're very specific about what we're putting into that, whether we go with 6, whether we go with 1, whether we go with 12. That's the next part of this exercise.
Rick Benavides for the record.
Go ahead.
To answer your question, we can't put all the proposition in one proposition. The statute is very clear that each requested bond needs to be for a stated purpose. And so that's why, as stated in the draft that's in front of you, the bond is associated with a department and for specific projects. So we can't put them all like that. And this is like, again, because whatever we pass, it needs to pass the AG's muster, right? And so the AG is going to look at that and he's going to determine whether it passes the statutory requirements or not. If we were to put them all in one, it would not. So on the line, we have Rose from McCall Parkhurst also as well. And if she wants to chime in, she is the election guru, and I mean, I would defer to her. But just in case she wants to give her 2 cents on this as well.
Mayor, I have a question before.
Yes, go ahead.
So my question to you is, can we put public safety together? If we should need to, health and wellness together, of course, infrastructure, and then go to parks. Is that something we can do?
So you're looking at the,
So-
go ahead.
If I may, Rick, this is Rose Kineski from McCall, Parkhurst and Horton. I am an elections attorney with my law firm. I'm not co-bond counsel as much as my firm is co-bond counsel with Mr. Benavides and his firm. Jay could not be with you today. He asked me if I could please, as the head of our elections department, join you this evening to answer any of these questions. We can easily combine police and fire because public safety, first responders can be combined. I do urge some caution in doing so because the amount of the proposition is much higher than we have traditionally seen across the state. The difficulty with combining some of the other categories is that the nomenclature that you have been using is not the same as the Attorney General's approach to these types of projects. So public health and wellness for that office actually breaks down into traditional public health that I know the mayor's interested in, and that is different from Parks and Rec, that type of wellness. And it's traditional to isolate out street improvements. They are something very different. We cannot lump all infrastructure projects together.
Mayor, can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
A question real quick, ma'am. The $4 million for the cameras at the parks, can that go under public safety or does that have to go under parks?
If we categorize that as an item related to public safety, we can include it there. I just urge caution that we characterize those projects as public safety and not as, oh, improved park lighting, because that type of description would cause the Attorney General's office to ask us if we have properly categorized your projects. The downside when we don't properly categorize is that the Attorney General will not allow you to spend bond proceeds, even if the voters have approved those projects. So for us, we're very aware of how important these needs are in your community, and we want to ensure that the voter's decision is protected at the end of this process.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
The police department has a real-time crime center that encompasses the camera systems, so it would fit in nicely under public safety, utilizing that because that's the goal, to be able to monitor the cameras for the public safety within the park system.
Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
If I may ask Rose on the line, how quickly would the Attorney General come back with a decision on that? Or does the Attorney General wait until after the voters vote? Or is there any? Mhm.
Yeah, so Dr. King, the problem with dealing with the Attorney General is that we really won't know what that office's position is going to be until the end of the election process. So after the May election, when we put together the financial instruments and the election documents to present to the Attorney General, it's only then that we will have a clue as to what that office is thinking. We base our advice today on our historical relationships, what has worked for us in the past.
Chief, go ahead,
Mayor-
Chief.
Mayor, good evening, Mayor, Council. We can absorb the camera projects for the parks under the public safety. We'll make sure that we'll provide the infrastructure and get together with parks and make sure that we deploy those cameras where they've identified that they're needed. We've identified some of those parks as well, so we'll be able to absorb that.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to accept that, the $4 million to be moved from Parks and Recreation to be moved into public safety as far as the police department.
All right, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
I'd also like to make a motion, Mayor, if you'd allow me to combine both police and fire as a public safety, one vote, both together, public safety necessary.
Motion,
Second.
second, question?
I apologize, but could you remind me of the last name of our assistant?
Kaczynski?
Kaczynski? Ms. Kaczynski, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
You said that generally speaking, you don't see the combination of police and fire when proposing a bond issue. Can you explain why that has not been your experience, or did I misunderstand?
No, I actually do see public safety as combining both police and fire. And in some cities, that would also include things like animal control services.
Okay, did you suggest that perhaps the amount would be off-putting for the voter?
I don't know your voters as well as you do. I only know what historically my office has been monitoring across the state, and it is a very large amount.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you.
To elaborate, you're not talking about the total amount that's a very large amount. What specific parts are you referring to as being a very large amount?
No, I am referring to the total amount. And they may be in your community extremely justified. I am not familiar with all the items on the project list. And I know these departments would not have requested the funding if these items were not needed.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions?
Mayor, that's my motion.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Motion passes. Thank you.
There's two opposed on that.
Two opposed, sorry, I didn't see it. Two opposed, motion passes.
What was the second, Mayor?
Two cigarettes.
Thank you.
All right,
No, Senate, to oppose?
Opposed.
No, it's cigarros.
Yes.
yes, we said that.
Mayor, I'd like to motion to separate as well, health and wellness, the health department, the $70 million.
And-
Separate that as well from everything else.
All right, motion,
Second.
second. All in favor?
Wasn't that already separated? I asked.
Well, what's put together was public safety as far as fire and police is concerned. to separate and have it on a separate bond referendum is gonna be the health and wellness facility, the new facility at that.
It already is separate.
Okay, but do we need to categorize them every single one, or we don't need to now? Okay, perfect. All right, I rescind my motion.
All right, as noted. I'm sorry, can you break it down as to what we have up to now?
Yeah, I'm also kind of lost.
Can we bring the spreadsheet back up? So what we've done is we've taken parks and we've added that to police.
Right.
Then we've added police and fire together, so those three now make up one.
One.
And so now we have, and we have health,
Community development?
community development, and, public works is separate. So there's 4 questions now.
Perfect.
I'm sorry, do we still have, this person still on the phone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Rose. Yes, this is Councilman Garza. Does that have any implication, or breaking it down? Well, let me put it clear. Does the public like to have individual, we have 6 of them right now. Would the public prefer 3 or 6?
So it's a balance between what the public will prefer in terms of choices, what the Attorney General will approve in terms of what is a central purpose. And then finally, we also need to consider the practical impact on voters who may just get tired of a long list of ballot items. So typically, we will place the most important item first.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So, Mr. Espasa, can you just separate them for us? To see what we have, the 4 individual ones, and that we can just vote on that and then go from there?
The combination, what I have in green right now, so we're talking of combining the 85, the 181, and the 4 million would be a total of 271,150,455. Then we have health by itself, 70,881,000. We have community development in Hamilton, 10 million, you understand, by itself. And then the 65 million for the paving by itself.
Motion to accept.
I'll second that.
Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
One.
One opposed.
One opposed.
One opposed.
Mayor, if I can ask though, bond counsel, are we good with that language? Are we?
We
able-
are.
All right,
We
we're
are.
able to make the adjustments and everything? Awesome.
Yes, I do have one question though, because those appeared in a different order in which the draft ordinance was drafted.
Okay.
And I want to make sure the council is comfortable with the order. This is something totally up to their discretion. There's no hard and fast rule, other than it is typical to put the most important item first and then decrease in importance. I know that's a hard ranking decision to make when you have these needs, but I currently have public safety first, healthcare second, what I'm calling the affordable housing component next, and finally, street maintenance last.
I think it's right, it's in order.
Mayor?
I think.
Yes, go ahead.
I would just motion that we put streets as second, because I think that in the public's mind, that's right up there. Okay, that's. No, I'm not making a judgment over streets being more important than public health. The point was being to the people thinking about what they're voting for. I think when they think of their tax dollars going somewhere, I think they think of streets more directly, but I will. I'll rescind my motion.
In that case, Councilman Gonzalez, you can make a new list, possibly.
Well, just public safety, health, streets, and community health development.
I'll second that motion.
Motion second? Go ahead.
So, Councilmember Gonzalez, my fear is that if we don't show more priority to our affordable housing component because it is such a smaller item compared, not that it's a small amount of money, but compared to the rest of the list, that it will be an easy thing for people to say, not that, I'm done. I think if we give it a little bit more importance, I think by the time they get to the last item, they understand the importance of infrastructure and paving. And it's a psychological thing, and it is my opinion, but I think that the Hamilton has a better chance of being funded, and I do believe it is so important to seniors and our affordable housing crunch, because what we will see if it doesn't pass is more and more units that are not able to be used by our senior population there. And right now, the waiting list is so long to get into other affordable housing projects that essentially we will be having to turn people out onto the street. So I just feel that to give the Hamilton the best chance of getting funded, we do need to include it in the mix. I fear that if we drop it to the last item, it's gonna be an easy item for people to say, no, not that one. Just a psychological shopping thing, probably shop too much, but that's my opinion. Thank you.
You know, well, so the main point right now, the main point that we're trying to do this referendum to do what's priority. So public safety is the main priority, and it's being, I know we compare ourselves, they compare us to San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, we're trying to, see what they did. But the difference is public safety for us, it's very crucial, especially because we are a border town. We don't see the same impact of, I don't want to say problems they have compared to us. We have different kind of problems. And I think, public safety should be, that's the reason that we should go with public safety first. And then we should go with I guess I'm saying paving, because without good infrastructure, then our roadways, you gotta remember that we're in the biggest import and export of the United States. So we're always gonna have our roads and not in very well condition. So right now, as it is, right now I think we have the best roads compared to other cities. We've been, traveling around. And we do have good roads, and put it in third and second. I think that's going to help us a lot in our infrastructure. So for me, I'll keep it in second.
I appreciate my colleagues' comments. Hopefully my motion's on the table, and if it fails, then I can consider theirs.
All right. Do you want to repeat your motion?
Yeah, it'd be first public safety, second health, third paving, and fourth
Hamilton.
the Hamilton.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. All in favor? Opposed? Motion one, opposed. Motion passes.
Mayor, if I may, I was just advised that the 271, 150, 455, that's the one we need to round for the financing part of it. So that new number is 271,160,000 even. So we would need a motion to amend the amount from the 200.
So moved.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Here you have one last item, and that's on the consent agenda, and that is the city secretary.
So, just a quick question. Do we need a vote on the ordinance, number 2?
I believe they already voted.
Okay.
Mayor, before.
Yes, go ahead.
So I just want to I want to see make a directive to city management and PIO, but more to city management, see if we can do some town hall meetings to explain, bring in safety, public safety. I know public safety has great PIOs. They'll go out there and explain why we need this, all these, these funds to support them. And I think Mr. Chief Hurd and Chief Rodriguez will do an awesome job, explaining the community, especially, and also having a public works out there saying, and health department, out there and saying why we need all this to committee, and starting to look for venues where we can do this, And so we can do it in English and in Spanish.
Yes, sir.
So puedan entender la gente en español y en inglés y en español.
Yes, go ahead.
I think we also, and I think Zoe might be mentioning this, we need legal advice on what we're allowed to do and say. Us up here, but also city, like, I understand we're not allowed to, or the city is not allowed to act, go out there and say, vote yes for this type of thing. So just so we don't break any laws, can you give us some legal guidance?
If I may, thank you for that. I wanted a chance to speak with all of you here. So we cannot electioneer, right? Which means we can't use public funds to advocate for or against, tell people how to vote. We absolutely can state facts and provide information-only efforts, like the town halls and so forth, but we cannot use city resources, public resources to advocate. However, for one example is like if you all write letters to the editor for the Laredo Morning Times, that is not considered political activity. If you all, in your own individual capacities, put a disclaimer, this is your personal opinion that you should pass this, should not pass that, and it's your personal opinion, not as a city council member or the mayor, then that is not political activity. So that's the line, is we cannot advocate, we cannot electioneer, but you can provide information, or as an individual citizen, you can speak your mind.
Mayor?
Go ahead.
And that would include social media,
Yes,
Mr. Nguyen?
Yes, ma'am. I would advocate that you speak your mind in your individual capacity. If you want to do something with the city, then allow the PIO and city management to handle those.
But on our, on our individual social media sites, it's okay. We just say we're individually advocating on our own behalf
Yes, ma'am.
as
please.
citizens.
Yes, ma'am.
What if you're against it on social media?
I'm sorry?
What if you're against it on social media?
You can be against it, you can be for
In
it.
your official capacity or in your
In
personal?
your personal capacity.
So what if you go on your campaign page and tell people you're against it?
If it's your campaign page, that's your personal page, but you can't do it on your city council member page or through the city.
The city, like city council member of, if you go and put that, then you're not supposed to do that?
Yes.
Okay, only the council people can say the personal opinion, not the position of the city, in other words.
Yes.
And who can say the position of the city? The mayor?
Well, you all can pass or coordinate what your position is for the city, but actually, your position of the city should be information only, facts based, right?
Is this the mayor's position to give the position of the city?
Honestly, Mayor, because it's going to the voters, you as the mayor or the city cannot say, we want you to vote yes, we want you to vote no. That you're only providing information. And as far as, if I may just take one step further, as far as the employees, like, we should not say for or against during work hours. But if Mr. Neb wants to speak his mind privately, he absolutely can as a citizen, not as city manager.
So I have a question. So we can't go out there and say we're in favor of this as a regular citizen?
As a regular citizen, yes, but please make sure the
Where
line
does
is
it-
very clear that it's as an individual citizen, not as district, council member for District 2.
If I may chime in,
So that means we can't have. Town hall with facts, that's what we're doing, facts, yes.
Mayor and city council, what the city will be doing is putting together fact sheets to cover exactly what all will be specific to each one of those things as to what the impact is, what the cost is, what it's going to do. We'll stay with the facts.
Mayor, just for our information and for everybody up here, we congregate to speak about putting all this together in a format we can all understand, so that we can go out to the public. Can we have a workshop or something together, so that we can just break it down as to how we're gonna do this and how not? I don't think that falls under the line of campaigning, but it's just that we do need to get together with everybody here, and so we can be speaking the same language, and it's gonna be very important to do that. Plus, giving us all the rules and guidelines to not blur the line of what's right and what's wrong, so I just wanna make sure we're all protected when we do this. I just wanna make sure that everybody that's in tune, that wants to get this done, we do it the right way, efficiently, because it's gonna be very, very important that we all speak the same language.
As far as your social media page from the city as council members and the mayor, that should be neutral, fact only, information only.
Right.
And coordinate through.
One more question in regards to,
I said, go ahead.
in
And if
regard,
we may, bond council, is advising and city secretary is advising, we go ahead and vote on item 2, and then we can also vote on the consent agenda.
okay, before we go there, one more question. In regards to policy, to differentiate from advocating for a candidate, regards to city policy, can council people state the policy of the city or just the mayor?
In general, we're on this, Mayor.
No, not related to campaigns and policy.
As a spokesperson, the mayor is a figurehead for the city. These council members may echo the position of the city, but an individual council member cannot, on his or her own accord, dictate what the city policy is.
All right, okay.
Mayor, real
Thank you.
quick.
Go ahead.
Mayor, real quick. So if we do go on our social media and say like we're in favor or we're against it and we don't clarify that we're not speaking as the politician, what is the ramification for that? Is that an ethics violation?
It's an ethics violation. I think it's a Class A misdemeanor, 1 year in jail.
Really?
And I may be conflicted out representing.
Yeah, Rick Benavides, just really quickly, the whole electioneering issue is very complicated. And so I would just take caution whenever you're making posts or considering making posts that you pass it to your city attorney and say, hey, is this okay? Because I've seen a lot of decisions where politicians post something that is, that they feel, that even me feels like isn't really advocating for the passage of a proposition, but the Ethics Commission does find that it is indeed a violation of it, whether it be because they're using city resources to make the post, they did it while they're online at the city, little things like that. So just be very careful, because remember, the violation occurs when you're using resources to promote the passage of the election, or if you yourself are advocating for or against.
Yes, go ahead.
So, is it possible or is it allowable that we, let's say PIO writes down something, can we share that?
Yes.
I would advise that.
Because that would be
the
information only, fact-based, and that could be disseminated, yes.
I have a Q&A that I'm going to pass around to you all, just so you all can have it. It's a quick little summary, front and back, to save some trees, but if you have any follow-up questions, go ahead and pass them on to the city attorney and reach out to me or the co-bond council if you have any questions, because you need to be very careful with this.
All right, go ahead.
I know we discussed that, us as council, what we can and what we can't. What about, for example, health employees when they're off the clock, or a police officer when he's off the clock? Can you explain that?
Yes. The line would be, if they're on the clock, they should not do it. If they're off the clock, they may. If they're doing it through their union, the union may, because that's separate from the city. Yeah.
Thank you.
But if they're on the clock, it's because you're using
Oh, no, I
salary.
get that, yeah. Just want to make sure when they're off
Thank
the
you.
clock. And off the uniform.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to motion to approve the first and final reading of an ordinance calling a bond election to be held in the city of Laredo, Texas, making provisions for the conduct of the election and resolving any other matters incident there, any of the matters related to that election, as discussed and presented.
Motions, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. One opposed. Motion passes.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead.
To legal. So everything that was just said, it goes into effect now?
Yes.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes, go ahead.
So I have a question. So if we're sitting here like in a meeting and we're posting on our social media, that's different from posting outside of the social, of a council meeting? Like if we're pushing for something or pushing against something while we're in a council meeting? That's different?
So that's where the issue arises, because I know you're kind of trying to make the distinction between being a private citizen and being a council member. I mean, yes, in theory that distinction exists, but in reality, not really. I think when you're out there speaking with the public, are you really speaking as a public person or a council member? So that's why we always just say take caution when you're advocating for something, because things can be easily misinterpreted. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Rose.
So if I may, my background is in litigation, and these are areas where I defend our firm's clients all the time. For me, the distinction is really, are you using the city's resources? Are you sitting there in a council meeting, typing on your social media instead of paying attention to what's going on around you? Maybe not using city resources, but it's still not going to reflect well on you. It would be better to wait until you're outside city council chambers and no longer raising the specter of the appearance of impropriety, of using public resources. It's not as much a factor for your job as a council person as much as using those public resources.
Ms. Mayor?
All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Oh, so Rose, so a lot was just discussed about social media. It sounds like you don't think using your social media page falls into public resources. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, as long as they are your campaign page and not an official city page that's advocating for an outcome.
That's a problem here in Laredo, is that there's no distinction, or I think like everybody up here has maybe their personal page, like as a human, just a regular person, and then everyone has a political page, campaign page, hybrid. There's no one has official city individual council member pages. I would say everybody up here has campaign Facebook pages. So how can those be used?
They can be used to promote an outcome.
So
as long as you're not using city resources when you do that. So is your Facebook account on a city paid phone? Were you in the building making photocopies? Those types of things. Time and money and anything that can be translated into time and money is a public resource.
Understood.
If I may, I'm playing it out, right? So how it would play out is someone's going to challenge you, hey, you're electioneering, you're using city resources, you're using your position. If you can defend it, and one way you can defend it by saying, I disclaimed it, this is my personal opinion, this is not me as a council member, that is a good defense for you. That's what I believe all of us are saying to you.
Okay. Would that apply even if it's within city premises?
Like Rose is saying, it could be colored that it was improper, but again, if you can distinguish it, I'm here, but I'm using my personal page, I'm not using city resources, I'm gonna break, those are all defenses that will show I'm doing this in my private capacity, I'm advocating or trying to reject something, not trying to electioneer on behalf of the city, using city resources and time.
The city facilities are always a fine line. If you're standing in front of City Hall, any member of the public can do that. When you are in your private chambers where the public is not allowed to go, that's a public resource. It's not a place the public normally can access.
All right.
I'm around.
All right.
Any questions?
There is a fine line, like you said. What about the reception area of a city hall?
Again, that's what Rose is saying, it's the front foyer, front of City Hall, the public can congregate. But, we've seen that blur. If you wear a campaign t-shirt up and down the stairs, maybe it can be blurred. But, if you can keep it as distinguished as possible, that would help you. That's all we're saying. All right?
Fine line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, we're here.
Outside of the envelope of the building.
All right. Any other questions?
One more item, I believe.
One more item, Mayor.
One more item.
Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Maldonado, go ahead.
I use your sheet, sorry. Under City Secretary, consent agenda, consideration and authorization Authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract in the estimated amount of $140,105.30 with the Webb County Elections Administrator for the purpose of conducting the bond referendum election on May 3rd, 2025, including the early voting April 22nd, 2025 through April 29, 2025.
Motion? Okay.
I'll second that.
Second?
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One opposed. Motion passed.
Mayor?
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion second, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes, meeting adjourned.